There we go. See, we're 10 seconds early today because you see when you click the on air button, you just never know. What sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes it takes 30 seconds. So I'm just tap dancing till right now. It's 6:00. It's Friday morning, December 5th. Nice to have you up here on Lake Wissota. I'm Pat Kreitlow. All the usual. The gang is all here for Friday. Our week in review panel that includes former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, journalists Jennifer Schulze and Mark Jacob, Kia Vakil from Courier Newsroom. We'll be talking about, apparently there's problems defining what it means for somebody to be shipwrecked and helpless. Clearly, there's still enemy combatants able to kill, right? Right? Anyway, we'll also get into the U.S. Supreme Court using essentially dirty political tricks again, this time to protect a rigged political map in Texas. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be here. Mike Clemens will talk about sports. And yes, we'll get into the big controversy, the Brewers' new road uniforms and what's wrong with them. People really feel strongly about this. And Sean Duffy wants to bring back the woodie, the wood-paneled station wagon. Would you go with that? We'll have all that and more coming up at 6:06 across the Civic Media Radio Network. First, time for the news.
Sean Duffy getting dressed up for the airplanes and getting a woodie? Oh, what a stylish guy.
MDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You know it's the holiday season when there's a big tree in the Wisconsin state capitol. Every year, there's a special ceremony to turn on the lights. The La Crosse Central High School band had the honor of kicking things off. This year's celebration centered around the governor's proclamation that 2025 is the year of the kid. The tree's called the Learning Tree and honors students and educators all over Wisconsin. The guests of honor included Mr. Peanuts, real name Rodney Esser, who's been the custodian at Park Elementary School in Cross Plains for 61 years.
I just love what I do. Every morning, these little people will come into school, and it isn't limited just to little people who throw hugs at me and high fives and fist bumps, staff as well.
Green Bay West High School teacher Ellie Hines-Verdew talked about what's kept her going after more than 3 decades.
36 years in the classroom. I think you can trust me when I say it's love.
The 30-foot-tall balsam fir came from farmers in Oconto County. It's decorated with hundreds of ornaments made by students from all over the state. Elmer Moore Jr., the executive director of the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority, got to do the countdown.
3, 2, 1. Woo!
Wisconsin's Capitol Holiday Tree has been nominated for USA Today's 10 Best Public Holiday Lights Displays. We'll find out who makes that top 10 list on Wednesday. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
The Bucks at home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks host the 76ers tonight. They'll be without Giannis Antetokounmpo for the next 2 to 4 weeks. He's got a strained calf muscle in his right leg. The Bucks are 10-13, but Doc Rivers says at least he's got Kevin Porter Jr. back, finally.
We haven't had him all year, and then, having him and Giannis out for that long stretch explains our record. Now we're back at it. We have him back now. And we may have Giannis out. We just got to figure out a way of winning games when all these guys are injured. And if we can get healthy, and I keep saying that, I like our team.
NFL, the Packers holding practice outdoors in 8-degree temperatures. They'll host the Bears Sunday. Jordan Love nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. The quarterback says helping kids from low-income families goes with the territory.
I think all of it kind of plays a part into it, and it's fun to be able to give back and to be able to impact people's lives.
That's the Packers' Jordan Love. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Construction barrels bloom every spring. So do opinions. WMDX, guiding Madison through life's most predictable surprises.
It is going to be cloudy with a little light snow possible today. We'll get to around 27 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, a little more light snow. We're going to drop into the upper teens to low 20s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 25. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 15.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that all Wisconsinites can get behind, from unrigging our economy so it works for all of us, not just the billionaire class, to improving our representative government, to delivering on the promise of we the people. Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program. Tag, you're it.
Afternoons with John and Gordy.
Let's go back to the phones. We have Joanne from Madison.
I'd like to thank all of the callers, especially the ones at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's work.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I want to thank the callers at 6 o'clock, too. Looking at you, Cynthia.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06. It is Friday morning, December 5th, 2025. Another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Wissota, from wherever you're listening across the Civic Media Radio Network. Thanks for joining us on the radio or by podcast or through the app, however you got here. Way to wrap up the work week. Let's do it strong before the next round of snow comes in, and then cold, and then another round of snow, and then cold, and then another round of snow. And at some point, we're going to get back above freezing. It's just not in the near future. I got a question for you. If you could wave a magic wand, and your next car would be a wood-paneled station wagon from 1971 that got 8 miles a gallon and blew out a choking cloud of exhaust, would you take that deal? Because Sean Duffy thinks you would. He wants to bring back the wood. He thinks that by cutting environmental standards for mileage requirements for automobiles, he, honest to God, really said this, the wood-paneled station wagon might make a comeback. Fine, Mr. Secretary, you first. Here's the other question that I do want to ask you about today, because it is apparently lighting things up online. And for that, we got to bring in our producer, Parker Olson, down in Madison Studio A2. The Milwaukee Brewers yesterday showed off their new road uniforms. They're not really new. They are, once again, going a bit retro. And instead of the road grays, they are going to have a powder blue top that says Milwaukee across it. That's right. They're bringing back the powder blue. But notice I said powder blue tops. And that, Parker, is where the controversy comes in. The comment section, as I'm looking through it at 4 o'clock this morning, is lit up. Tell the people why everybody else is so angry about these new road uniforms, Parker.
Gray pants.
Gray pants. They didn't change the pants. They didn't change the pants. All of the comments. And I mean all. I'm talking hundreds, because I scrolled. And I cannot believe how worked up people are that they don't also have powder blue pants, which is pretty much what the Brewers uniform was from like 1971 to 1985. Okay. Yeah. The powder blue itself actually isn't all that new either, because of those Brew Crew City Connect jerseys. So powder blue was gone from like 1985 to 2022.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, they had these Brew Crew uniforms that I personally do not really like, but other people love it. But powder blue. So now powder blue is going to be the road unis, but not the whole uni. They're still going to keep the gray pants, and people have lost their mind.
Pat, it is absolutely the dumbest thing that they're not bringing back the powder blue pants. It is just absurd to me. It's like wearing powder blue tops
Yes.
and gray pants
Yes.
is like wearing a black suit jacket and like navy pants to me.
Ooh,
like it
very
doesn't
good.
make any
Look, I
sense.
didn't realize what a fashionista you were over there.
I'm a
That's
very
great.
big uniform guy.
See, here's the thing. I would have seen it, when the season starts, and I would have said, ooh, could they not afford new pants? And I would have left it at that. But the fact that so many people want to get into the comment sections and say, what are you doing? Tells me that thankfully it's kind of a slow news week.
the part of the problem too to me is that this is the second time that they've done this, because I think that the City Connect should have had powder blue pants. Instead, they made white pants for the City Connects. We don't have white pants already. We have white pants with pinstripes, and we have cream colored pants. We don't have white pants. So they intentionally made those for the City Connect. It was a very, very, very intentional choice not to have powder blue pants, Pat. I'm upset.
People are clearly upset about this. And I mean, look, they're not the only powder blue uniforms out there. There are a couple of other clubs that have brought it back. The Minnesota Twins, for example, their whole 70s look is, red, white, and blue pinstripe or striping on powder blue uniforms. So, I mean, it's not new, but boy, if you don't match the pants, yikes. So there we go. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Although what are we going to get a movement going here? And the team's going to go, you're right. We found some extra money between the couch cushions, and we can afford to get the matching pants now.
Yeah, I would love that to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because it was obviously a choice that they did this. And they think that this is the best.
Somebody thinks it's the best. Yes.
Somebody does. I don't know who, but somebody is wrong.
And somebody is really getting an earful online. Also coming up on the program today, we'll have our regular Week in Review panel. That would include former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, and we are going to talk to him about how the right-wing justices on the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday once again used a very shady tactic to engage in political activism. This time, they're letting Texas Republicans get away with rigging the congressional maps so that voters have less say over who represents them in next year's election. This is truly dirty stuff. Jim Santel will tell us more, but the upshot is this. They use the so-called shadow docket, where they issue emergency opinions on cases that are actually still pending. And this case is still pending. A lower court said the obvious. These maps are rigged. Get out of here. You can't use them. But the far-right justices using the shadow docket said, well, while the case is working its way up to us, temporarily, we're going to allow those maps to be used, which kind of negates the whole purpose of bringing the case to court in the first place. So Jim Santel will tell us more. Maybe he'll tell me I'm wrong. We'll see how that goes. 855-75-CIVIC, again, our phone number to comment on that or anything else that's coming up today. Temperatures around the state range, they're all between 10 and 20. Everybody pretty much is in the teens, a couple of 10s, a couple of 20s, but otherwise everybody's in the teens across Wisconsin. And awaiting the next round of light snow that'll be moving into western and then southwestern Wisconsin before long. Nothing heavy, but again, enough to slick up the roads and maybe force you to get the shovel out once again. And then we'll wait a day or two in the still cold weather before another round of potentially light snow comes through the area. So stay tuned to your Civic Media station for your local forecast throughout the day. In our Up North News Daily newsletter, which you can sign up for at upnorthnewswi.com, Ellie Bordeaux passes along another reader photo. It's a gorgeous one from Chequamegon Bay. I didn't read the particulars, so I don't know if it came out of the Ashland area, Bayfield, someplace else, but just a beautiful photo of the smoke rising off of Chequamegon Bay on a cold, cold day. Also a story about how federal cuts to special education are hurting Wisconsin kids in their schools. And then her Locals Love section, it was a holiday week last week, so we didn't get a full week of shows to talk about this. But what she was asking last week was about, favorite holiday dishes. And she tells us in today's newsletter that next week, we'll get back into the locals theme of it. What's your favorite local supper club? Now, admittedly, not every place has what you would consider a supper club, but, maybe enough of a formal restaurant or something that's close enough to a supper club that qualifies. And again, we're not looking, don't feel too competitive about it. We're just looking, where's the nice one in your area? Where is it that you like to go? Now, we have kind of an embarrassment of riches around here. We have several good supper clubs to choose from. We used to have quite a few more, but sadly they've been, closing up their doors over the past, 10, 20 years or so. But again, there's still plenty to choose from, and we'd love to know if you have a favorite one. So throughout the course of next week, we may be asking you about that. And of course, to find out what the readers are saying, you can sign up for our newsletters over at upnorthnewswi.com. And that includes our Sunday morning newsletter that I put together that sums up the week's political news. So come on and be a part of that. Also coming up today, Mike Clemens will be talking about sports. We've, of course, got the Packers-Bears coming up this weekend. And if you missed it a few minutes ago, Mike Clemens mentioning that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be out 2 to 4 weeks with a calf injury, and that's going to shake up an already shaken Milwaukee Bucks team. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be around as well, as she is on Fridays. And of course, if you can't stick around for all of this, well, you can always pod this program by heading over to Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us that way. All right, Sean Duffy. The guy that says, don't wear your pajamas on the airplane. Apparently you got to get all gussied up now. Again, he had a good first half of the message. Be civil, be nice at the airports. The dressing up thing, I'm not so sure about. Anyway, the transportation secretary, the former congressman for up north, has decided to go along with what the Trump administration is doing this week, and that is taking an axe to environmental standards for automobiles. Over the years, cars have gotten more and more fuel efficient, and that's helped car companies sell more cars. But, of course, the guy who'd love to have all the cars burning coal if he could has decided to weaken those rules. Well, Sean Duffy was asked about it when he was interviewed on CNBC. And basically, as the Huffington Post calls it, he went the full Clark Griswold on the return of one particular vehicle. His words were, this rule, because he says it's all about choice. This rule will allow you to bring back the 1970s station wagon, maybe with a little wood paneling on the side. We'll bring back choice to consumers. So yeah, the minivan is awesome, but maybe the station wagon is cool too. Those are the actual words of our former congressman up north and our Secretary of Defense. And I will again, as I've been saying since 2012, say, I can't believe I lost to this guy. But anyway, he has a tendency to say these things, and then the internet does its thing. Comments include, why do they keep insisting on bringing America backwards? Another says, yeah, bring back that station wagon that got 8 miles to the gallon and spewed toxic fumes. Another says, nobody, especially those of us who drove a station wagon with wood paneling, ever wants to return to station wagons with wood paneling. Another says, next up from the Trump administration, rotary phones and asbestos. There's this one that says, relentlessly trying to convince the gullible that you can take America backwards. Another says, wouldn't it be nice if a certain political party decided to live in the present rather than trying to recreate the past? Another says, it's funny what parts of the past these guys want to revive. There were virtually no billionaires in the 1970s. Housing costs were lower. People weren't so stressed about their careers and dire consequences of failure. But Sean Duffy and company, they just want to bring back the gas guzzlers. And several people posting photos of Clark Griswold in the woodie from the vacation movies as well. And on it goes. And because, again, this whole thing about choice, that this is going to bring choice. Do you know what people have chosen over the years? They've chosen to spend less on gasoline or they've chosen to go with hybrids or EVs. Because they know the future. The future is more fuel efficient. We don't want to go back. And yet, somehow you have an administration, a mindset of a president that says, the good old days are going to make a comeback. Well, as Billy Joel said, the good old days weren't always good, and tomorrow ain't as bad as it seems. But again, if you're going to romanticize it, you're going to damn us all to having choking clouds of exhaust again coming out of some people's cars in the name of choice. Courier Newsroom's Kia Vakil joins us in just a bit to talk about this week's headlines. First, from the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota. Thanks for making this the place to spend part of your Friday mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Good touch with the Clark Griswold there. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Conversations because of loud background noise. Why not call Madison Hearing Aid Center? 608-249-4077 is their number. They offer fast and flexible appointments. Talk to Jim or Sarah. They're helping people change their lives with better hearing. Get a free hearing test online at MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. That's MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
Are you prepared, I say to my Republican friends, to sit back and allow over 20 million Americans to see a doubling of their health care premiums?
Is Bernie Sanders right? Will 2026 Obamacare premiums double for 20 million Americans? No. Many Affordable Care Act enrollees will face sharp premium increases when enhanced subsidies expire on December 31st. But there's no evidence that 20 million people will see their costs double. KFF estimates average monthly payments will more than double in 2026. While it doesn't say how many will see premiums double, 2 to 3 million higher income enrollees losing all enhanced subsidies could see their premiums double or triple. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
You can support animals in need in our community when you shop at Dane County Humane Society's thrift stores. Thrift Store West on Watts Road and Thrift Store East on High Crossing Boulevard. Shop gently used and new clothing and accessories, home goods, toys, furniture, and a whole lot more. All proceeds from the Dane County Humane Society's thrift stores support the comfort and care of animals in need across the county. Visit giveshelter.org/thrift for more information.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
Welcome back on this Friday morning, 6:22 now. Let's check in with Kia Vakil, Courier Newsroom's national political editor. Kia, hello. How are you?
I'm well, Pat. I'm glad the weekend's almost here.
You and me both. This is always a good milestone for me that we're getting there, and we can look back on some of the week's headlines. And a couple of them are fairly recent here. People may not have heard yet that yesterday, it looks like they may have finally found the guy that planted pipe bombs. It was at both party headquarters, right? Democratic and Republican. Overnight before January 6th. A lot of us weren't ever expecting to find that they have a suspect. It seems like they do now.
Yeah, they arrested a Virginia man and, 30-year-old. Basically, Attorney General Pam Bondi said the investigators went back through evidence that the FBI had already collected and they did not specify what in that evidence led to them to this man. And they said they did say there were no new tips. So, we'll see. I think if this is genuinely the suspect, that's great that there's going to be accountability. I am unfortunately at this point so skeptical of anything Pam Bondi or Kash Patel tell us without showing us the evidence. And I understand why they wouldn't. We have no reason not to believe in this instance that this man is a viable suspect. But we should want to see what determines that this man Brian Cole was the suspect.
Well, yeah, because look, just jumping into the next topic here, the one particular boat strike with the second missile attack on survivors clinging to wreckage. You see these reports. ABC had reports that sources said the two men were trying to make the boat upright and carry on with their drug run, which, I mean, that stretches credulity. That they're trying to overturn this boat. They were helpless in the water. So the lesson here is, just because the administration or somebody quotes administration sources, that's not any kind of definitive view of things at all.
No, and it's definitely not. And just to be clear, there are some pieces of evidence in the charging documents themselves of this pipe bomber guy suspect. So if those pan out, then that's great investigative work. In terms of the boat situation, that's just one of the most egregious things I've ever seen, to be honest. And no one's saying that drug traffickers shouldn't face the legal system or some form of actual
the legal system, right? As opposed to whatever this is that's happening here. And I think the thing that was just not good for me was to have Democrats and Republicans in a closed door hearing yesterday see the full video, and the Republicans come out of it and say, nope, nothing to see here. That to me is troubling.
Yeah. And I mean, you saw there was a Democratic congressman named Jim Himes who came out and said it's one of the most troubling things he's ever seen in public life.
And he has a long career of being in these closed door meetings. He's not like some schlep off the street. He knows what he's talking about, and says these guys were shipwrecked, and we shouldn't have done what got done.
Yeah. And look, I understand drug traffickers are not sympathetic figures. I completely understand that. I wouldn't argue that. But they're human beings, and their legal system exists for a reason.
Right.
And if we are now saying that we can just at will bomb people because we want to, or because a lunatic is in charge of the War Department, Defense Department, whatever you want to call it, that sets an unbelievably dangerous precedent. Rules are supposed to exist, laws are supposed to exist for a reason, because if you don't have that, then what you have is chaos and violence, and we're just back to our most base selves. And I don't think people should want that, because then we've seen what happens in history when there aren't structures to deal with these sorts of disputes.
And guess what? We see that in the ICE arrests lately as well.
Yep.
New York Times put out some numbers on Thursday that showed that compared to how things used to be when the arrests of immigrants, a much higher percentage of them had actually been facing criminal charges. But here we're talking single digits in terms of the percentage of these people that are being arrested who were facing some kind of criminal charge. Hardly the so-called bad guys that Trump said they were going to be rounding up. It sounds much more to me like a police state, a race-based police state.
That's exactly what it is. It's, they've been greenlit to racially profile by Brett Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court. They are fully just going after anyone who is appears to be brown in public, basically. They are detaining and arresting U.S. citizens and then later releasing them because it's fully based on who they think, based on their idea of what an undocumented immigrant is. Who they think that is, that's who they're going after. And yeah, obviously, when you racially profile people, you are going to arrest people who are undocumented immigrants, but they're arresting people with no criminal charges. They're landscapers, they're construction workers, they are roofers, they are food vendors, they are school teachers, as we've seen. They are people who contribute to their communities, who make a living, who pay taxes, who, live in this country for decades in many cases. Some of them came here as 6-month-olds. And you're telling me that those people are dangerous? No. Most of the people being detained have no violent convictions. An overwhelming percentage do not. And basically, this is Trump. We've seen Trump repeatedly use the frame remigration. This has nothing to do with undocumented immigration. He wants to make all immigration illegal unless it's white South Africans.
Yeah. Let's close on a lighter note with just a few seconds we have left here. How's that ballroom coming along at the White House?
It hit a bit of a speed bump this week. Trump fired the architect who he had hired to build it, seemingly after some disagreements about how big it should be. And so
why did this guy not understand the word huge? Because I'm sure that was his only instruction. Make it huge and gold leafed.
Yeah, unclear. Basically, Trump wants it to be huge, and the architect in his firm, apparently had raised some concerns about it being bigger than the actual White House itself, which I can understand why someone would have a concern about that. But yeah, it's not fully clear if he fired him or if he quit or if they just parted ways in some. But
it's not going anywhere fast, is what we're trying to say here.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't plan to your reservation yet to hold prom there or something like that. So, Kia Vakil, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good start to the weekend.
You too. Thanks, Pat.
I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
From the Capitol to your kitchen table, Madison's biggest stories live right here on 92.7 WMDX.
County fairs around Wisconsin waiting for the details of a new economic impact study. I'm Pam Yonke with a quick update on what's happening in food and farming news on a Friday. Jamie Butke, the executive secretary of the Wisconsin Association of Fairs, explained some of the challenges they hope that study will address. That's next.
Did you know you can leverage crop insurance to benefit your bottom line? Ag Country Farm Credit Services can help. Choosing the right coverage for your goals can help maximize margins, strengthen your marketing strategy, and build a more resilient operation overall. As you plan for the season ahead, focus on more than just managing risk. Call 800-450-9858 to speak with one of our dedicated crop insurance officers. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
In 2025, Wisconsin County Fairs went through an economic impact study trying to figure out their true financial value not only to their county but to their state. Jamie Butke, executive secretary of the Wisconsin Association of Fairs, says they'll be sharing that information with attendees at the 2026 Wisconsin Fair Association Convention. That comes up in January in Wisconsin Dells. She said one of the challenges most people don't recognize, just trying to keep that audience coming through the gates.
We need to find what entices that next generation of parents to come to the fair, because they're further and further removed from the fair. Where are we getting that next exhibitor from? People don't think of that concept. Who's going to be in the show ring? Who's bringing exhibits, into all of the buildings that we have? We find that our fairs are spending more time educating people about ag education, and that's a bigger piece that they have to do, where before it was just taken for granted because people were showcasing that component of it, or now we're educating.
Jamie Butke, executive secretary of the Wisconsin Fair Association. They estimate that in 2025, about 2.3 million visitors attended their county fairs. That's about 33% of the state's population.
Winter is a good time to evaluate your livestock's health. BioVet loves seeing healthy animals contribute to your farm's profitability. Freeing up your time for the holidays is at the top of our list. When you choose BioVet microbial and nutritional products to keep your livestock out of the sick pen and healthy, you'll enjoy more time with your family this holiday season. Many thanks and warm wishes from our BioVet family to yours. Help your livestock stay healthy and call 1-800-BioVet1 or visit bio-vet.com.
And today is the beginning of the 106th Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation's annual convention at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. It'll kick off this afternoon with their annual Young Farmer and Agriculturalist Conference. They'll also be holding the 91st annual meeting of the Rural Mutual Insurance Company. And the entire Midwest Farm Report team is going to be there. You might want to follow us on social media to see some of the action. Of course, that's Midwest Farm Report or Fabulous Farm Babe on your social media channels. That's a look at food news on a Friday. I'm Pam Yonke.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
It is going to be cloudy with a little light snow possible today. We'll get to around 27 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, a little more light snow. We're going to drop into the upper teens to low 20s tomorrow. Partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 25. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 15.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every week.
Hi, Pookie.
Hello. How are y'all doing today?
We're great. We're groovy, peachy, lovely, sarcastic, subversive.
Yeah. I'm still ahead. Why am I? I'm still ahead.
Oh, well, that's way ahead.
Kidding.
You're not still ahead. You're next.
Whoa.
All right.
How you doing, Greg?
Always spelling that wrong. I'm frazzled, out of sorts.
So situation normal. Got it. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yep.
Ouch. Okay.
Hey, we're all there.
Hey, that's all of us. That's not you.
I am Greg Bach. So yeah.
I'm so don't do it.
I don't recommend.
20 seconds.
It's time once again for today's history lesson on Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
It's one small step for man.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
You know, this depression is going to be so great. We'll be the ones eating the cats and the dogs. That's going to be fun.
Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
Gonna tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John. He claimed he has a misery, but he having a lot of fun. Oh, baby. Yes, baby. Woo, baby. Having me some fun tonight.
We kick off today's history lesson with a little Richard Penniman. You know him better as Little Richard. Born this day in 1932, a little Long Tall Sally to kick things off. For the late Little Richard, passed away back in 2020. Welcome to today's history lesson on a Friday. Wait, did I say Friday, Parker?
You did. What does that mean, Pat?
It means Greg Bach is here. Boys and girls, Greg Bach has joined us for our Friday history lesson.
Woo!
Good morning,
See?
everyone. Welcome to the history lesson.
Even Little Richard is singing for that one. That's great. How are you?
I'm doing quite peachily keen. I'm loving this song. Now the nearly 10-hour, probably even more, Beatles anthology was remastered, redone, and re-released on Disney Plus over Thanksgiving. And this song is a huge part of the first episode, as the Beatles were very, very, very influenced by Little Richard. So hearing that song takes me back to watching that episode so long last week ago.
See, now so long last week ago. See, but now I have to rewatch it. It's been, like you said, 30 years.
Oh,
so.
and there's added bits of interviews. They've taken some things out, which I don't really like, and then they've added a whole nother episode that's completely devoted to the songs they did off of John Lennon's demos, which yeah.
Although I remember from the Beatles' Love album, I loved what they did with Strawberry Fields Forever.
Oh, yes.
Where you heard three different phases of it. It's the very earliest phase, a middle phase, and then the final phase, and they strung that all together as one song.
Yeah.
That part of it was really nice.
Yeah.
Also born this day, Walt Disney in 1901. He passed away in 1966, or did he?
Dun, dun, dun.
Head in a bucket.
Are you telling me?
somewhere in a freezer.
Put his head in a bucket of water, freeze it for a while, and we'll come back to it later. I don't know.
For those who don't follow, I guess he was big into cryogenics and.
When I was a kid, I watched the show iCarly a lot. It was on Nickelodeon, and there was an episode where they were going to like a TV network, and they did a spoof of this, and the guy's head was frozen. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did not know the reference then, but I do now.
That is very, very
glad
deep comedy for children.
I know. I'm glad we could fill in the blanks since your iCarly days, which were, 3 years ago, that we can finally fill that in for you. That's
really a joke to say, we know adults are watching this with the kids. Let's give them something.
Yep. See, I always like that, though. You got to throw the adults a bone. That's the key right there.
Absolutely.
This day in 1964, I don't know. I didn't even know the Beach Boys had a concert album. I'm not used to hearing screaming fans at a Beach Boys concert, but they did have a concert album, and it went to #1 this day in 1964.
Round, round, get around, get around,
no.
Get around.
Sorry, Parker.
I now realize
that I gave you the link to the actual concert album.
Yeah, you did.
All right. Well, Parker,
wait.
I'm changing it now.
Oh man, guys, ladies,
this has been a
kids,
rough,
in between.
week
This
for
is
me.
live radio on the.
This is live radio when Parker just decides to get lazy and look up the thing instead of
Instead
actually
of clicking
do his
on the
job
links
and
I
use
sent
the
you.
link as
Yes,
Pat
I
suggests.
totally get it. You know.
All right,
Parker. Here we go.
Proudly, that because of people like you, this next song
Man,
we're
all
gonna
those
sing
screaming
sold over 1 million copies for us. It was #1 in the nation. Round, round, get around, I get around,
See, to me, it's like you took the screamers from the Beatles at the Ed Sullivan
Yeah.
show, and you dropped them into a Beach Boys album. You don't normally hear that together.
Yeah. It's very interesting to hear that, and just in the '60s, like those fans did not hear that music at all. They just heard other people screaming.
Yes, yeah, I heard that all the time. they didn't really hear the songs exactly. We have a birthday to note today. Christian Yelich turns 34 years old today. And I want to know what Christian Yelich thinks of the powder blue uniforms with the gray pants. Did you hear the big controversy here, Greg?
I got an email from the brewer saying, "Hey, you know what? The powder blue is back. Why don't you buy it yourself for probably $300?" I'm fine with it. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I grew up with the powder blue.
But the controversy. They didn't change the pants. They're still using the gray road pants with the powder blue tops, and the comment sections have lost their collective minds. As has Parker. Parker feels very strongly about
Parker, do me a favor, because I have a mortgage to pay. Sorry, that was very old man of me to say. I apologize.
That was ageist of you.
I didn't like that at all that I just said there. I apologize. Send me a link to that. I want to look at this for myself, because I saw powder blue in my email, and then I heard powder blue, and I'm
the Journal Sentinel does a story. Yeah, it's getting traction. Anyway, on this day in 1933, the 21st Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified. What did that mean? It meant the end of Prohibition on this day in 1933. All right, we're going to go from the Beach Boys to the Beatles. Tomorrow marks the 60th anniversary, 1965, of the day when the Beatles released an album and a double-sided single. They were very productive back in that day.
Yeah.
The single was We Can Work It Out, and then this was on the flip side.
I mean,
I can't believe Day Tripper's the flip side of something. Now, the album was no afterthought. So they released this double-sided single, and then they released now Rubber Soul.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nowhere Man, In My Life, Norwegian Wood. So here's an album. Here's a couple of singles. I mean, if you thought Taylor Swift was dumping things on people, she learned a lesson from the best. 60 years ago this weekend.
That to me, there's something about that in the old days where bands would put out 2-3 records a year.
Yeah. Yep.
And nowadays you're like, oh, we just released an album 7 years later.
Oh, I know. People are like, where's Rihanna? It's been 8 years.
That's never happening again. I don't think she's ever going to make another record again.
Nope.
But then less than a year later, you get Revolver. Just
yes,
a pittance of an album with no hits. No one ever remembered it again.
No, of course not. And then there's your one-hit wonders, which takes us to our next birthday, and that would be Andy Kim, who is 79 years old today. This is in your 70s bubblegum Hall of Fame right here.
Do you know what I say about people who are one-hit wonders, Pat?
What's that?
One more hit than I got, so I'm not going to hate on him.
Yep, exactly. And the thing is, here's the asterisk. He's actually not quite a one-hit wonder. It's more like 1.5. Because as it turns out,
did you collaborate on something?
He was part of the Archies, the cartoon show, the Saturday morning cartoon, and he co-wrote their hit Sugar Sugar. And it was one of the singers in the Archies.
Well, then I say he's got 2 hits.
I'd say 1.5 since nobody knew he was in the Archies till then. So Andy Kim is 79 today.
Did you just say you've never heard of the Archies?
Not once.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh,
comic book. Have you heard of comic books? Comic books.
The show
Riverdale.
Do you know the show Riverdale?
I've heard of it.
That is a dark version of the Archies.
A dark,
I don't
very
understand
adult
why they
version of the Archies. Yes,
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Andy Kim is 79. 1 year younger is Jim Messina. He turns 78 years old today.
Your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll.
This, of course, it was Loggins and Messina.
Yeah.
Kenny Loggins and Jim Messina, who turned 78 years old today. Before Kenny Loggins went off, and he did a few things on his own.
Again, a guy went off into the wind and no one ever heard from him again.
Never ever.
I just saw a great clip from The Office where he gets in the car and says, put on some Loggins. He goes, all right, find some Loggins and Messina. He goes, did I say Messina?
And Jim Messina, again, no slouch. He was in Buffalo Springfield and then Poco after Loggins and Messina. So he done good too. 78 years old today. Happy birthday to him. On this day in 1766, you've heard of Christie's Auction House in London. On this day in 1766, auctioneer James Christie held his first ever sale in London. On this day in 1776, Phi Beta Kappa, the oldest academic honor society, held its first meeting at the College of William and Mary. On this day in 1993, at a video shoot for the Travis Tritt remake of the Eagles' Take It Easy, the Eagles themselves reunited.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind.
See, now I really liked the Travis Tritt tune, and I really liked, and I'm going to bring the volume up here for the chorus. I like this part. I'm like, these background singers, they got really good harmony. It turns out it was the Eagles themselves who were singing this.
That video shoot led to them reuniting.
And that video shoot, as I continue reading my notes, led to them reuniting. Because they had been...
give me a heads up, bro.
They had been broken up for 13 years to that point. And the next year, 1994, they got back together after what they called a 14-year vacation. So
it's funny because a certain generation, like Parker's generation, grew up with the Eagles in their life on the radio, knowing they were a band touring that their parents might go see. Whereas I grew up knowing that the Eagles would rather fight each other in a boxing ring than get back together on stage.
Yes. Which again, we'll say for the umpteenth time, if you've never seen the Eagles documentary, you got to. Because it includes the footage of them breaking up. I mean, literally breaking up, almost getting into a fist fight on stage.
And if you want to know if it's got a bias towards one member or other, check who the executive producers are of the documentary.
Yeah, that's always an important thing with musical documentaries.
Yeah.
On this day in 1848, in a message to Congress, President James Polk confirms that large amounts of gold have been discovered in California, starting the California Gold Rush on this day in 1848. The AFL-CIO is the result of a merger this day in 1955 between the American Federation of Labor and the Congress of Industrial Organizations. And let's see what's on the National Day calendar from one Parker Olson.
Well, unlike the Brewers, I am wearing blue pants today because it's Blue Jeans Day.
We're holding on to that gray pants thing.
Yeah, I just saw a picture. It's very odd looking.
It is very odd looking. It's like the equipment manager lost half the bags.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, only the bags with the shirts arrived. All right.
Are these the pants? Yeah. Totally.
Yes.
That's the ticket.
So today is National Blue Jeans Day?
Yes, it is.
All right.
As you mentioned earlier, it is also Walt Disney Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it is National Ninja Day.
National Ninja Day?
Yes, and every 10-year-old boy is so excited.
Oh, yeah. They're all over that. They're all wanting to wear their ninja costume to school today. Can totally see that. Greg, were you ever a ninja?
No, I was a Spider-Man.
Oh, sure. That totally makes
That was
sense.
my thing. I liked dressing up as Spider-Man as a little kid.
Uh-huh. So there's your National Day calendar for today. Still ahead, we've got our Week in Review panel with former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, journalists Mark Jacob and Jennifer Schulze. In our 8 o'clock hour, Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be here. Mike Clemens will join us with sports. We might ask him about the powder blue uniforms, the tops only the gray pants. It is a scandal of epic proportions rocking Wisconsin on this Friday morning. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is a secret show type of stuff. I would say for those listening, if you enjoy country music and you enjoy the Eagles,
Secret show.
Thank you. Common Thread, which is the name of that album, is a country tribute to the Eagles.
Yes.
Or Eagles. It's a controversy even with the name. Is it the Eagles or is it just Eagles?
Or if you're from Philadelphia, Eagles.
Oh, this freaking band.
Right.
I really had to censor myself right there. I felt it. I felt that.
You know the other one,
and
you know the other one like that. Is it Eagles or the Eagles? Hall and Oates. They hated that because they never released any records by Hall and Oates. All of their records said Daryl Hall and John Oates. And they hated that people called them Hall and Oates. I'm like,
oh my God.
Really,
you can get
really
all right, yeah.
them.
Get mad on your throne of money. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Ugh.
Right? Oh,
I'm a real artist. I don't care. Did I say Messina? I love that line. Just like
oh God, I'd have fallen off my chair seeing that in the
Yeah.
episode. Do you have any news to report either on the Laughing Tap or stuff about Jane's shows?
Construction is moving along. Nothing really to report there. It's just, things are being built, and then we're going into
you have a
the
target
last
date?
week. No, we don't have a target date. We don't want to. Yeah, it just
okay.
Yeah, but yeah. If I can mention the fundraiser, that'd be great.
Yes, by all means. Is there a website people should go to?
Yeah, people can just go to laughingtap.com. It's right there at the top. You can click on the GoFundMe and give what you can. And if you can't give, and I'll say this on the air, as I always say, if you can't give, if you can post it to social media and let people know, that's, for me, that is wonderful. So
okay, I like that. Okay, got that. How was Thanksgiving weekend?
It was good, It wasn't. It was there. There was some upfront stress,
mm-hmm.
and then it melted away. Maybelle had to be unfortunately put upstairs because she just could not handle all the people.
Oh God, my dog
but
too.
It was the greatest turkey I've ever had. I'm still thinking about it today. It was almost as good the day after as it was the night of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that speaks to the fact that we went to a farm to get our turkey.
Oh,
and
yes.
It was a little more expensive, I will not lie.
Yeah.
But I think it was worth it.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. Tony, if you can't give, get out of here.
Get out of here. How about your Thanksgiving? I know we only have a few seconds, but was it good? Oh, you guys just hung out.
Well, yeah, we kind of did. Sherry was on call Thanksgiving, which stretched into Friday because her replacement got the wrong date. So she ended up being on call for 2 straight days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, 10 seconds. Nice to have you back on this Friday morning. It's December 5th. I'm Pat Kreitlow in Chippewa Falls, Parker Olson in Madison. Greg Bach joining us from Radio Park in Racine. You get to hear him more as part of Matt and Air on Air. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11. Well, a limited time only. This is a limited time offer to listen to Jane and Greg together.
6 more episodes.
This is, yeah. This is a rough time. You got my old co-anchor Judy Clark, legend here in Eau Claire. Today is her final day broadcasting, and the next Friday will be Jane, Matt, and Air. These 2 women wrapping up just amazing careers, almost a century of broadcast experience between them, and all of it good.
Yeah,
I
just actually got a friend suggestion on not her friending me, but a request for Judy Clark. And her picture is her from, looks like the 70s or 80s, and it looks really cool. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I should also say, well, let's see if this is one of those, maybe I shouldn't have started this because I can't explain it properly on radio. But there's Christmas greetings that would be done at the TV station every year because, you got time to fill in the commercial breaks. And so you go from each person, and they do a little something funny. And Judy's thing, one year, when her 2 boys were really little, she found a dress kind of. Basically, it looked like a Christmas tree. And she had her 2 little boys putting decorations on the tree. And she said something about, next year I'm going to get a real tree. Well, people loved it so much that Christmas tree dress, she was making jokes about it for 25 years now.
That's awesome.
And so in her last Christmas greeting here, she was talking about hanging it up as in a career and of course, as in the dress. And so the retirement party's coming up, and I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
There's dust in your eye.
There's going to be dust in my eye because nobody deserves better retirements than Judy Clark and Jane Matinaire. So again, we just
agreed.
Get to wish them
and Jane's
well.
probably listening to this right now, so she's like, "Shut up, Pat."
She probably is. Before we get to any entertainment news here, Greg, I know the Laughing Tap for the longest time was looking for a new home.
Yes.
You found it, and it'll be now you're sprucing it up, shall we say?
Correct. We are sprucing up. We have found a new location. It is located in the historic Watts building on Jefferson in Milwaukee, around the Cathedral Square area. So if you know Cathedral Square in Milwaukee, it's right there in the famous Watts building. Beautiful, beautiful architecture on that building. And we are in the construction phase. And we don't have an open date yet, and we're not saying that right now, but the workers are in the room building walls and tearing out carpet and making things happen that I could never do. I would just ruin everything. But if you want to be part of the fun and you would like to possibly give to the campaign, we have a GoFundMe going on. You can go to laughingtap.com, click on the link, go right to the top of the page. It's right there. Give what you can if you can. If you can't, I understand. Times are tough. I'm not going to force the issue. All I would ask is that you share it, maybe on social media, and let people know about it, because this is a local business run by local artists trying to do good by the community and try to contribute versus trying to come in and take all your money.
There you go.
Yeah,
Love it.
laughingtap.com for more information.
All right. Sounds great. Parker, what are you looking at for entertainment news?
What am I looking at for entertainment news, Pat?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm looking at George Foreman in auction for his gold medal.
They're selling him his boxing gloves.
Wait, is this a cryogenics thing too?
Yes, his head is in a box.
No.
We there's an auction for his 1968 gold medal that he won. I think there's like a day and a half or so left on the auction. Right now it's only at $6,500 at the top bid, so achievable.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to get 30 friends to get together, and then we'll just send it around the country, and everyone can have it in their house for a week and a half.
Yeah. No, he won that in Mexico City when he was 19 years old. So that'll fetch a pretty penny. No doubt there.
Would think.
All right. What else you got?
News that I saw this morning when I got up. Netflix is buying Warner Bros. Studio and streaming.
What?
I like that. Warner Bros. I like that. Such a modern touch.
Hey, man, Warner Bros. Wait, they actually they accepted the offer?
I don't know if it's quite accepted yet, but it is very
It must
close.
be. The story came in overnight. It was posted that Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers for $83 billion. And so it will see the streamer Netflix acquire Warner Studio, HBO Max, and access to intellectual property that includes DC Comics, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. Get this by the co-CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos. Our mission has always been to entertain the world. I feel like I need an echo effect. Our mission has always been to entertain the world. Oh, that was great, you guys. By combining Warner Brothers' incredible library of shows, from timeless classics like Casablanca and Citizen Kane to modern favorites like Harry Potter and Friends, we'll be able to do that even better. But again, for $83 billion, my question to you, Greg, is when's the first price hike from Netflix, and how bad will it be?
I mean, this is not. I'm sorry, but this isn't good.
It's not good. Yeah. No, it's. We talk about this on the show all the time. The anti-competitive stuff. Again, it's not a monopoly, but when you're shrinking the amount of competitors, it's not good.
And you're making it so that no one can actually start anything either.
Right.
When the competition is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, I'm not going to sit here going, you know what I want to do is I want to create this thing, because it's like I will get nowhere. And will it be HBO as a standalone service, or will it all just be on Netflix? And will it be $50 a month?
Yes. I think it will at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
And people will go, if only there was some alternative, like cable or something, but
or a newspaper.
Or a comic book for Parker. And we can
Exactly,
finally introduce him to the Archies.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why
That's a whole different episode. Greg Bach, thank you so much for kicking
Thanks
off
for
the
having
weekend
me.
with us.
Yeah, you guys have a great weekend.
All right, you as well. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour here, of course, we will have our weekend review panel, but we will also have our 12 Days of Community Kindness will continue at 7:45. And right after the news, we will have the latest keyword in our grown-up gift list text-to-win contest. So get that Civic Media app and get set to text us a word I am going to give you right after the news for your chance to win a daily prize and grand prizes as well. Welcome to our mornings powered by Up North News. I'm Pat Kreitlow, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you, Greg.
Okay, so I saw the uniforms in its full weirdness.
It is weird.
It's just odd. Like, just, it doesn't make sense. And you know that someone in a room went, here we go. And the other people said, yeah.
But they were all thinking, really? But nobody wanted to be the first, so nobody said anything.
I really want a promotion. So good job, Ted.
Yep.
Good job. That's a great job.
wonderful.
I love it.
Exactly.
The gray really brings out the blue.
It doesn't look at all like you can't decide which side of the Civil War you want to support.
It doesn't look like at all that you forgot to do one part of your laundry.
Yeah. Honestly, I think every equipment manager is looking at that going, oh, God, I'm going to get
baffles
other.
It's insane because we have really good equipment managers too. Like they do work really hard. Like whenever there's like holiday stuff, they always do the batting helmets to match like the specialty hat for the day.
Yeah. Yep.
Like nobody does that so well.
No, I mean, I've got my son-in-law is an equipment manager for a college hockey team, and I know how hard they work, and I know how much they don't want to be blamed for something they didn't cause.
But I didn't realize the equipment managers designed the uniforms themselves.
They don't. No.
Okay, so they have nothing. Yeah.
But they should have input on them, I would think.
But yeah, what I'm saying is people will go, oh, the equipment manager forgot their pants or something. It's like, no, this is actually by design, believe it or not.
Ted's fault. It's all Ted's fault.
It's
always Ted's fault.
Yep. Thank you, buddy.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Let's see here. There's James. There's Mark. Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing very well, thank you. Let's see. Let's get over to some notes here. Jim, Shadow Docket, Texas Maps.
Right, exactly.
Kick off with that.
Sure.
And
I bought some pardons again this week.
That's right.
It's huge numbers, and
well, I needed something to tease for 7:30, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to tease that for 7:30. Pardons, all right, and then we got the Tennessee special, where I'd love Jennifer's take on this. And so she's like, this just shows they gerrymandered Nashville, and it worked, you know. And then, and you know, as part of the Supreme Court thing, Mark, turns out some of us were right about John Roberts.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, isn't it weird that he's not really like Mr. Guardian of democracy, you know?
No.
No. You know, and he was the moderate one, you know.
Right.
Hey, by the way, Jennifer doesn't have she can't find the link, so I'm emailing it to her now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Just so you know.
All right.
And Pat, the other again non-thing we report on non-things. Grand jury not re-indicting Letitia James. That's huge.
Oh yes.
Government can't convince a grand jury.
Okay. Got that. Great. Let's see, and then Mark, you get to go not only John Roberts but Tom Cotton. We get to talk about all your favorites today.
Oh my gosh, Tom Cotton.
Yeah, I know. We get to cover all the worst people.
He was wearing some weird red thing. Maybe it was Holly. Do you see this? Your shirt is wonderful, Pat. He was wearing kind of
looks good on you.
An elf version on. Did you see him? He had a blue jacket on, and it's very odd.
Oh wait, that was an actual photo of him?
Oh yeah,
I saw that. I thought it was like a graphic designer, like
no.
doing that.
I saw the video of it. He was kind of moving it around, and It looked like he should be in Santa's workshop or
I
something.
didn't
like
realize that was an actual choice. Okay, well, yay. All right, let's see. Actually, now I'm going to go fill my coffee cup, and by that time, Jennifer should be here, so I'll see you all in a bit.
Looks, the formations, and where the slot's going to be, and things like that. It'll definitely make it a lot easier for them and us.
NBA, the Bucks host the 76ers. Milwaukee trying to get back to 500 after losing 8 of their last 9. College volleyball, the Wisconsin Badgers swept Eastern Illinois in the first round of the NCAA tournament in Madison. Badgers playing North Carolina next at the UW Fieldhouse. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Our lakes are gorgeous. Just don't swim in them. 92.7 WMDX, keeping Madison honest, one broadcast at a time.
It is going to be cloudy with a little light snow possible today. We'll get to around 27 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, a little more light snow. We're going to drop into the upper teens to low 20s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 25. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 15.
Oh, this is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we share stories from Turtle Island, highlighting the people and issues shaping our communities. From protecting water to treaty rights.
There's Jennifer.
Languages and...
Good morning. You good? You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When was that?
I know. it's so much that happens at once here, you know?
Hey, Pat, if there's an opportunity, I'd like to mention that that today I'm looking forward to the announcement of the FIFA Peace Prize.
Oh, is it really today? Okay.
Today is, yeah.
All right.
That's where they're where the corrupt organization FIFA is going to give Trump some sort of peace prize.
All right, got it. All right, there. Okay, 20 seconds will be right after the contest.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
7:06. Nice to have you back here up north. It's a Friday morning. It's December 5th, 2025. We, of course, have our Week in Review panel that'll be joining us in just a bit. That would be former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, journalist Jennifer Schulze, and Mark Jacob. Parker Olson producing things down in Madison. Next hour, we've got Dr. Kristen Lyerly and Mike Clemens helping us out with sports. But first, it being this time of the day during our grown-up gift list text to win contest, it's time to share a keyword with you that you can text in using the Civic Media app. So there's chances all throughout the day to play this, and so many chances to enter because there's a different keyword each time, 7 a.m., 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, 7. And each entry puts you in the running for a daily prize of $200 and then 3 grand prize winners who will choose from a new snowblower, an air conditioner, a stainless steel cookware set. For all the details on the prizes, head to the website, civicmedia.us. And again, you just have to text in the keyword before 8 o'clock. And the keyword to text in this hour is card, C-A-R-D, as in Christmas card. Card is the keyword for this hour from now until 8 o'clock. Text the word card on the Civic Media app, and you will be entered for a chance to win in the grown-up gift list Text to Win contest. This is a multi-station, multi-state game from Civic Media. Head to the website to learn more. 7:08 on the dot right now. So let us bring in our panel, as always, on this Friday morning. Jim Santel, Mark Jacob, Jennifer Schulze. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm feeling more and more like Peter Marshall on the old Hollywood squares. And I just want to go, hello, stars. And they'll go, hi, Peter. I'm reaching way back for some of these references, but
Paul into block, right?
Exactly. See, that's the one thing missing here. If we had another panelist, can you see that Joan Esposito in the center of the screen right there? You know, we could totally see that. All right, we could wax nostalgic about game shows all day, but we do have business to attend to. Not the least of which, Jim, maybe I'm misunderstanding because I've only read the story once, but if I read the story correctly, then once again the U.S. Supreme Court has engaged in political activism using something that's supposed to be for emergency cases and instead going in a very shadowy political direction when it comes to those rigged maps in Texas. And again, this is not a permanent ruling, but it's still a very damaging ruling. Tell folks about what Texas did and what the Supreme Court justices did.
Right. Back in November, which is just a few weeks ago, we had a 3-judge panel out of Texas finding that the new lines that were drawn there in Texas, these 5 new districts we've been talking about, that they accomplished a racial gerrymander, basically disenfranchising people of color, saying this is outrageous and directing that there be new lines drawn. Well, what happens, of course, is Greg Abbott and basically the president as well do what they always do. As you're indicating, Pat, they run directly to the Supreme Court, which they can do. The Supreme Court, you may recall, through a fellow named Sam Alito, exercised his emergency authority, suspended that, and now, as of yesterday, have entered yet another sort of preliminary stay on all this. But you're absolutely right. This is another invocation. Here we go again, of the shadow docket. And basically the Supreme Court, majority of the Supreme Court said that the lower court had improperly inserted itself into an active primary campaign, causing much confusion, upsetting the delicate federal-state balance. Texas likely to succeed on the merits of its claim that these new drawings of lines there are proper, and so has restored, if you will, those 5 districts, a majority Republican. Significantly, once again, we've got a concurrence written by Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, 17-page dissent by Elena Kagan and the others. And all this comes just days before December 8th deadline for candidates to run in Texas. And we're back in it again. Yeah,
there's all kinds of analogies, Mark, that we could go with on this. It's something like, somebody is stabbing you and you're going to a court saying this person's trying to kill me. And that person says, no, I'm not. And it's the court, can you make them stop stabbing me while we determine if they're trying to kill me or not? And the Supreme Court's going, well, we'll get around to determining if he's trying to kill you. But in the meantime, the stabbing can continue. This gerrymandered map gets to be locked in place while they decide whether it's a rigged map or not. That is turning the judicial system we used to know on its head.
Right. And it's, it's establishing the facts on the ground, and, somewhere down the road, we'll decide what actually is justice in this country. But right now we're going to let the Republicans steal 5 seats. So, I'm sorry. I just don't think the Supreme Court's a legitimate body anymore. I feel like that they have made so many bad rulings, and the immunity thing last year was just horrendous for them to decide that the president of the United States is above the law. And so, I don't know how we get it back. I think we get it back maybe with elections and adding justices to the Supreme Court, because otherwise these guys are just going to rule bad things over and over again to kind of thwart democracy and justice.
And Jennifer Schulze, you took this a step further and took a look at the Tennessee special congressional election this week. And the headline was that, well, the Republicans won, but they won very, very narrowly. But you expanded the point further to go, well, they shouldn't have been able to win, but they did their own gerrymandering in Nashville in Tennessee.
Right. 2 cycles ago, the Republicans in Tennessee took the city of Nashville and cut it up into a pizza, basically, where there had been one Democratic congressman who'd been there for 20 years in a, sea of blue, right? Here's Nashville and here's the rest of Tennessee. The Republican legislature there took it and they, I don't know, just went like Wolverine through Nashville, and so created all of these funny looking districts, and so that a Democrat could not win. That was the goal. Could not win, and has not since. Republicans have had each of those districts in that funny shaped thing. And frankly, the fact that Afton Ben did as well as she did, I think is a huge thing for everybody. That means that a lot of Republicans came out and voted for her And you can see Republicans are very, very nervous about what's ahead.
And Mark, you made the point that again, John Roberts looks like such a nice guy. And he said all the right moderate things during his confirmation hearing and since that time. And again, the number of people saying I told you so may not be very large, but they are being very loud right now because he is who we thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he was not as radically right as, Scalia and Alito and like that. But I mean, I do think that a lot of people thought that the Supreme Court would be this kind of moderating influence on politics in this country, and would roll back if the left got too far, and would roll back if the right got too far. But really, Roberts especially the rulings that he's made since these three Trump people got on have been just outrageous. And I'm sorry, Trump should be in prison right now. He should not be president. And so he's named 1/3 of the justices of the Supreme Court. I just can't take it seriously.
And now it's time for True Confessions with Jim Santel, because Jim, I honestly don't know your view on this, whether you're about to say, yeah, I actually thought he might be kind of moderate and I'm really disappointed at where he's gone, or this is your moment to go, I have always known this is what this guy was going to be like. So where are you on Chief Justice John Roberts?
At the time that he was in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, remember, he very notoriously said, all I do is call balls and strikes. Remember that?
Yep.
And you go back, a lot of us looked at it. I was a little bit in that camp and look back. He's written some memorandums in his past that support the notion of a very strong executive branch. And as Marcus just said, and Jennifer as well, it has blossomed wildly. So it's always been out there in a trunk. And I would simply comment that in addition to this grant of basically supreme authority to the presidency in July 1 of 2024, recognize that John Roberts has also led the pack when it comes to the evisceration of voting rights. Probably the Supreme Court sometime soon is going to put the final blow with John Roberts' pen on it. The Voting Rights Act of 1964. He has never liked it. He's always said, we've moved beyond that. Now we've got to do something we got to be concerned about voting, but not that. And the other big issue, of course, many others, is religion. If you allege that your faith tells you that something is wrong and the government is not giving you money, not permitting you to do something by virtue of the Establishment Clause, you know who wins? Religion does. And that has also been at the forefront of his practice here. We saw a little bit of a chink in that recently when he decided that a Rastafarian probably did not have the right to go ahead and pursue his claims. But there are other areas where somewhat predictable. And again, it has blossomed in ways that I don't think anybody would have predicted 20 years ago.
No, it just feels like that part of the judicial branch, as well as, of course, the legislative branch, have completely abdicated any checks and balances, have abdicated oversight to the point, Mark, where I feel like the word monarchists. So it's not that they just want to capitulate and, well, whatever Trump wants to do. And James talks about, a strong executive branch. Well, strong to the point of you're basically supporting a monarchy.
Yeah, and it's a monarchy that's white supremacist too.
Right.
That's the thing that's so alarming is as Jim pointed out in the Voting Rights Act, Roberts has said, as he's systematically stripped the power of it, and the last blow might fall very soon. He keeps on saying that we don't need it anymore because we're post-racial. We don't
right.
Read the comment sections.
Right, and he's saying that at the same time that Donald Trump is calling Somali immigrants garbage.
Right.
And not just because they're immigrants, because they're Black immigrants, and so and no person with a brain would think that racism is completely solved in this country, but the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court seems to think so.
All right. Well, let's switch gears to something lighter before we have to pause here, and then we'll get into more of the week's headlines. But Mark, you tipped me off that FIFA, the governing body of world soccer, is introducing its own Peace Prize. Step aside, Nobel Committee. There's now going to be the FIFA Peace Prize. Is that going to be announced as early as today? Are we taking bets on who might win it?
Yeah, they're doing in DC. It's an event that the FIFA president and Trump are doing, where they're announcing the draw for the World Cup, which is going to take place in the U.S. and Mexico and Canada, and they just invented a FIFA Peace Prize, and everyone thinks that Trump's going to get it, And I mean, FIFA historically is a very corrupt organization, so it's not a big shocker that they would want to give a peace prize to the guy who keeps on blowing up boats in the Caribbean.
I don't know, Jennifer. Are you on DraftKings right now? Are you taking bets on whether Trump gets this?
I wonder if they'll make the presentation at the Donald Trump Institute of Peace.
Oh God!
The building that he renamed this week, even though the government doesn't own it. He took it and put his name on it.
He put his own name on the Institute of Peace, which I gotta tip my.
He is so hungry for that Nobel.
I gotta tip my cap
disgusting.
to California Governor Gavin Newsom put out a parody of the KFC, the KFC Institute of Veganism it's on that same building. It's just a great spoof. The Week in Review panel continues here in just a little bit. Plenty of headlines to go through, but again, our keyword for the Text to Win contest is CARD, C-A-R-D. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you. I wanted to squeeze that in before the commercial here. So, all right. So let's see.
Did you guys see the story? It broke last night in San Francisco that Trump has eliminated free days at our national parks on Martin Luther King's birthday and on Juneteenth, but added his birthday.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So apparently they're free days at national parks. There's 5 of them.
Oh, boy.
Maybe 6. They got rid of the 2 that honored Black Americans.
Yes.
And added his.
Okay. Well, that's where I'm going to start at 7:35 then, because I was going to go with the more about the Somali rant at that point. So let me get this in here on that as well. All right.
Yeah, but racism is solved.
It's all solved. It's all done. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the boat strike, Mark and Jennifer, then to Jim about the law being clear on boat strikes, and then Jim will pivot to no new charges for Letitia James. So that's how we'll shape this up after I give the keyword and a couple of things coming up in just over a minute.
Plan your next office or holiday party with Sugar River Pizza in Sun Prairie. Get to sugarriverpizza.com/catering to book today.
What exactly is wrong with my meatloaf?
I like it. Most of the time it's pretty good.
Most of the time?
Well, most
pretty good?
Kind of, yeah.
Seems like nobody in America agrees on much of anything these days.
But can we agree the federal government shouldn't tax people into poverty?
If you work full-time, you should be able to afford your basic needs. Don't you think? We're the patriotic millionaires.
We believe your full-time job should cover what it costs to live. We think your first $45,000 of income should be tax-free.
And multimillionaires?
We should pay more to fund your tax cut. Go to first45taxfree.com to learn more.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
You passed. Nice to have you back. Just about 7:23 now. I'm Pat Kreitlow here on the Civic Media Radio Network. CARD, C-A-R-D, as in Christmas card. CARD is the keyword to text in before 8 o'clock on the Civic Media app as part of the Grown Up Gift List contest. I have not mentioned sports-wise that the Badger women's volleyball team, they were victorious last night in the opening round of the NCAA National Women's College Volleyball Tournament. They swept Eastern Illinois. They advanced to the second round, which also will be at the UW Fieldhouse. They will host North Carolina tonight at 7. The Badger volleyball team making it to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the 13th consecutive season. There's also Badger hockey that you'll be able to hear on our station in Wisconsin Rapids coming up at 5:30, Badgers versus Notre Dame. And then we've got Badger men's basketball versus Marquette tomorrow. Coverage begins at 1 on several Civic Media stations. Head to civicmedia.us to learn more. All right, let's bring our panel back in here. Former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, journalist Jennifer Scholze, and Mark Jacob. And let's get into the difficult question that I talked to Kia Vakil about in our last hour. It is not easy to talk about our own government deciding to blow up shipwreck survivors. And that is exactly what happened. Jim, I'll end with you to talk about the law of it. But Jennifer, I have to start first. Like I said to Kia last hour, what is especially upsetting to me is that, the members of Congress saw this video, saw the boat get blown up, saw two guys clinging to the shipwreck, and you have Republican members of Congress who saw the follow-up strike and have somehow concluded that that was justified because they were still in a position to be enemy combatants of some sort. It is I don't even know what it is that actual members of Congress would see this and come to that conclusion in the name of politics.
Well, the one who made the most noise about it is Tom Cotton. And, he's never said anything that would go against Donald Trump. So frankly, I'm not surprised that he said what he said. Tom Cotton does not tell the truth. But yes, the entire thing is staggering. And apparently it was 41 minutes from the first strike to the second strike. And for some reason, some people who were involved with that thought that these two people desperately clinging to a piece of wood in the ocean were still somehow enemy combatants and getting ready to launch another attack on the United States. So they decided to kill them in cold blood. And that's just a remarkable thing.
That's assuming it was an attack anyway, because again, there's been no due process, Mark Jacob. We don't really know what was there. So, I mean, in very mob boss style, this is kill the witnesses. And Mark, that is no surprise for you coming from Tom Cotton.
Yeah, well, I used to live in Arkansas. And so, I hear about Tom Cotton a lot from my friends. And he's just a terrible guy. 2 years ago in my Stop the Presses newsletter, I wrote a whole column about 15 ways Tom Cotton is awful. And two of them are that he called slavery a necessary evil. He was defending, well, we needed to do that. Yeah, right. And he also, this just blew me away. Barack Obama named a new ambassador to the Bahamas. And Cotton said specifically that he was going to block her nomination being confirmed because just to get it at Obama, because he knew that the woman was a friend of Obama's. And so for 1,647 days, there was no ambassador to Bahamas. Finally, the appointee died of leukemia without being confirmed by the U.S. Senate. And this is the kind of person Tom Cotton is. He is a terrible person.
From a legal standpoint, Jim Santel, again, most anybody that you talk to with an independent view of things sees the law as pretty clear.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rational dispute about this, whatever your political persuasion may be. So many factual problems as well. We know that, again, whether it's cocaine or fentanyl, either one of those comes predominantly from Venezuela. That's number one. But even putting that to one side, going back to fundamental notions here, even an unarmed speedboat, which these are, even as carrying cocaine or fentanyl, is not a warship. And none of those 11 people aboard initially, and not merely the two who were survivors, also the 9 others were fighting anyone. Again, as Jennifer has just outlined, the time period on this is damning. And the notion that anyone in a military setting can pursue people who are no longer combatants, of all but for the virtue of the fact that they're holding on for their lives, are somehow engaged with us in a military operation and killing them, that is completely contrary to the rules of law, completely contrary to the rules of engagement. It harkens back again to things like My Lai massacre and other instances where in military situations we have done things that are contrary the basic fundamental tenets of armed conflict. This is not a close question.
And no, and then to put a real exclamation point on it, Jennifer, is if it is a boat full of drugs, and I don't care if the boat is loaded with drugs, it is a fraction of what the ex-president of Honduras brought into this country, who the president pardoned this week, Jennifer.
Arguably, the former president of Honduras is one of the biggest drug traffickers in recent memory, right? I mean, it's responsible for bringing so much bad stuff into the country, and he walked out of a U.S. prison this week. So my head spins. I do not understand. There's no logic here. Clearly,
no, because again. And I know I say it a lot, but I wouldn't say it if it weren't for that conviction of, no pun intended, Joe Biden or Barack Obama releasing a drug kingpin like that. It would still be the lead story days later, and this was just another day in Trump world. We will continue with our Week in Review panel coming up in just a bit. Again, a reminder, CARD, C-A-R-D, is our keyword in our Text to Win contest for our grown-up gift list. Learn more about the prizes and the rules over at civicmedia.us. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. We'll be back after the Midwest Farm Report here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
The holiday season pretty critical for Wisconsin's dairy industry. I'm Pam Yankee, starting you off before the opening bell on a finally Friday morning. Quick look at what's happening in agribusiness news influencing your markets. But it looks like this year, holiday buying is a little middle of the road. We'll talk about that next.
Did you know you can leverage crop insurance to benefit your bottom line? Ag Country Farm Credit Services can help. Choosing the right coverage for your goals can help maximize margins, strengthen your marketing strategy, and build a more resilient operation overall. As you plan for the season ahead, focus on more than just managing risk. Call 800-450-9858 to speak with one of our dedicated crop insurance officers. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
Bryce Windecker is a dairy operator himself in New York State. He's also a dairy analyst with Everag, and he says this year, the holiday purchasing of dairy products, a little mediocre.
Domestic demand has been, mediocre to, slightly below average, we would say. We just have that much more new product, hitting the market, and specifically on cheese, when the Europeans know they're going to have a lot of extra product to sell, they slash their prices right away just to undercut us and get exports first.
And that's what's been happening. Bryce Windecker, a dairy farmer himself in upstate New York, also a dairy analyst with Everag, he reminds us the European Union is responsible for about 1.6 times more milk production than the United States.
Veltima fungicide outyields the competition by an average of 7 bushels per acre. But you've never been average. The only competition that really matters is you versus you. And with the performance of Veltima fungicide from BASF, you can take your best results even further. Beat your own record. Get every bushel you deserve. And make this your best season yet with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
On Thursday, both barrel and block cheese remained unchanged in Chicago. AA butter gained a half at $1.47 a pound. This morning, the January Class 3 milk that goes into cheese is up 19 cents at $15.45. February's up 18 cents at $15.60. So far this morning, March corn is down a penny at $4.46. January soybeans down 3 at $11.17. July wheat, that's currently down a penny as well at $5.54 a bushel. Don't forget, this is the 106th annual meeting of the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation kicking off today. Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. Midwest Farm Report team will be part of the Young Farmer and Agriculturalist Conference that kicks off later this afternoon. We'll see you there. I'm Pam Yankee.
From the Capitol to your kitchen table, Madison's biggest stories live right here on 92.7 WMDX.
It is going to be cloudy with a little light snow possible today. We'll get to around 27 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, a little more light snow. We're going to drop into the upper teens to low 20s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 25. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 15.
Pete Schwaba.
If you've seen The Godfather of Green Bay, you'll know just how damn funny this guy is. Mr. Tom Lennon.
It gets Prince up in Marinette, guys. That's kind of great. Prince stayed in Minneapolis his whole career because he was like, look, it keeps some of the kooks away if you just go where it's cold.
Do you see a lot of similarities between me and...
There we go. Hey, Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you good. You look good, too. I hope you got connected all right.
Yes. Yeah, no issues.
Sounds good. All right. Well, we've got a panel here that we're going to continue on with until about 7:44 or so, and then we'll bring you up until 7:49. And so you just stand by in the waiting room, and we'll come get you in 10 minutes.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Lisa.
60 seconds.
30 seconds till we're back.
Well, you didn't sound as cute as the kid.
Yeah, well, the kid's busy.
Okay.
Kid's behind something, right?
Child labor. Jeez.
Can't say that.
Coming up in less than 10 minutes, we will continue our 12 days of community kindness, putting a spotlight on another organization doing good things in the hometowns all around the Civic Media Radio Network. But first, a reminder that the key word for this hour is CARD, C-A-R-D. CARD is what you want to text in on the Civic Media app to be eligible for one of the prizes in the grown-up gift list Text to Win contest. Let's continue things now with Jim Santel and Jennifer Schulze and Mark Jacob, our Week in Review panel, looking at all the stories of the week, which has to include, Jennifer, every cabinet meeting looks like it's right out of North Korea. I clearly touched a nerve here. But the one this week with the President of the United States repeatedly dozing off and then going on one of the most racist rants even by his standards. This was one doozy of a cabinet meeting this week.
It is mind-boggling to me how they go around the table and say the things that they say, and none of it is truthful. And some of it is so vile. The Secretary of Agriculture actually sat there and congratulated him for cutting 40 billion, I think, from food stamps. And, what a remarkable accomplishment. And he beat Joe Biden at that, she said. But most of the time they are saying things that are just so... Marco Rubio is sitting there sitting next to him, gesturing to him, and he is sleeping.
Yes. But it's Sleepy Joe. Tell us how it's Sleepy Joe. Daniel Dale, the longtime fact checker, we read through yesterday's program, all of the many corrections, Mark, that had to be made to what was being said. And it's just astounding that, again, people just kind of shrug it off.
Yeah, well, number one, saying how, he's brilliant and he did all these great things, and that, but it's amazing how much they're still blaming Biden, the guy who was so incompetent he couldn't get anything done 11 months ago. But now that he's not president anymore, he casts a giant influential shadow over all of our lives. It's bizarre how they do that.
It really is. Hey, tell us about your column as well over at stopthepresses.news. The males of MAGA manspread their insecurity. This seems to tie in well to the obsequiousness that was the cabinet meeting.
Oh yeah, and that actually posted before all this the Hegseth stuff where this macho kind of posturing they do. It just drove me crazy, and the impetus for it was their insulting of female reporters, calling them piggy and, stupid and stuff like that. I mean, these are very insecure men. I mean, and my point was that mature, self-actualized males do not act this way. They don't feel like they have to bring everyone else down. They don't have to share all these crazy memes that Trump does of him, as a wrestler or as a Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now, Trump, no person who was, felt good in their own skin would constantly project crazy macho images of themselves. And I just thought I'd point that out.
Well, and again, it's not just the president. I think of all the people who have decided to become part of a masked police force that does not provide any kind of just cause for arrest, and that is my reminder to all American men out there that you're going to come to a fork in the road about whether you have compassion and a sense of service, or if you're going to let toxic masculinity drag this country down. Jim Santel, you've been in countless courtrooms. You've had to defer to judges, frankly, that you just don't like, and you maybe think we're completely wrong on something. I cannot believe you engaged in the kind of buttering up that you saw in that cabinet meeting this week.
And not even close. I won't go into the specifics, but I am in courts, state courts principally now in Milwaukee County, other places in southeastern Wisconsin. And there are many times when judges will say, Mr. Santel, I disagree. You're wrong on that. And that's not because I'm ethically wrong, because we've got arguments to be made about various things. And the answer is we move on, even though inside I'm thinking, gosh, that judge may not have understood my argument, charitably, other things like that. One never, ever says these kinds of things. Why? And this is, I think, the point behind your question, Pat, because you are saving it for another day, right? Every single thing that this president says out there in the public domain is going to come back in some way, probably in litigation. We have seen it, especially with the ill-fated prosecutions of Comey and Letitia James. He says all of these things out loud, and they sink the very initiative that he wants to pursue. In those cases, prosecutions of his enemies. These comments about Somalis and about others, there's so many to pick from. They are, in fact, picked up by litigants in court who say that this is what the president is saying in the context of discrimination cases, in the context of cases involving grants from the federal government, all kinds of things. This is the chief executive, and his words mean something. They're outrageous, they're racist, they're inaccurate, but they can have an effect upon things inside and outside the courts, and they can come back, frankly, to sink the very initiatives that his Justice Department wants to pursue.
Jennifer Schulze, was it you that mentioned a little bit ago that the President of the United States has just changed the calendar on days that you can get into national parks for free?
Yes, Pat, it was me.
Oh, dear.
Apparently,
now I'm forcing you to repeat it again on air, but tell folks the news.
So apparently there are a handful of days that you can go to a national park and admission is free. 2 of those days have long included Martin Luther King Day and more recently Juneteenth. Those days are no longer on the free day calendar per Donald Trump, but he has added his birthday as a free day to go to the national parks.
Oh,
so
Lord.
all the other days are, like Memorial Day or 4th of July weekend and things like that. But the racism is everywhere. It's spread through the entire administration, even the national parks, which we know he's already done a lot to change the exhibits and displays at national parks as it relates to Black and brown Americans.
Exactly. The racism is real, which allows us to end on a higher note, Mark, to talk again about the book that you and your brother put together, about the opportunities that were provided in basketball to create a team of legends, thanks to a guy who probably couldn't have made the team back in the day.
Yeah, the book is called Globetrotter, How Abe Saperstein Shook Up the World of Sports. It's about a 5'3" Jewish guy in Chicago who started the Harlem Globetrotters, an all-black basketball team, and, knocked down a lot of racial barriers and changed the way people looked at sports and looked at race relations in this country.
All right. Mark Jacob has his Stop the Presses newsletter at stopthepresses.news, including his video series On Target with Stephen Beschloss. You can read Jennifer Schulze's Indistinct Chatter column on Substack. You can also follow her on Blue Sky. And, of course, Jim Santel will be back tomorrow morning, 9 to 11 a.m. for Amicus, a law review, replayed on Sunday. Head over to the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us, to learn more. Panel, thank you again so much. Have a great start to the weekend. We'll we'll see you, most of you, next week. Mark, I know you'll be off. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks so much, all of you. Have a great day.
Take care, Pat.
Stay warm, everybody.
We're sure trying. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's now take on our 12 days of community kindness and talk a bit about what's happening in Amory, one of the places across the Civic Media Radio Network, the Amory Hospital and Clinic Foundation, and the work that they do. And so let's welcome Lisa Relof to the program as well, director of the Amory Hospital and Clinic Foundation. Lisa, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Pat. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. And thank you for getting the memo that we're wearing red today. It's nice for somebody to color coordinate here. So let's talk about the Amory Hospital and Clinic Foundation and what you do for the hospital. You know, a lot of that work might be behind the scenes, but is very necessary for the support of a hospital like the one in Amory. Tell us more about the foundation.
Absolutely. Thank you. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are separate from the hospital, closely partnered with the hospital with our own board of directors. We work to support patients trying to improve health and well-being through what we can influence with the hospital. So we work to raise grants and funding for important initiatives. And we have a variety of funds. So I'll talk about our Good Samaritan Fund. I'll talk a little bit about some of the equipment, some of the building and remodeling that has been able to happen, and because of philanthropy. So very important, and it's wonderful to be able to be part of this work to make a really positive difference for our community of just 3,000 people to provide excellent healthcare here close to home.
For folks that aren't aware, in a lot of our hometowns, the local hospital might have a foundation. Why does a hospital need a foundation?
That's an excellent question, and the first question that I usually get, because people, of course, look at their bill and say, "Oh goodness, you know, why would a hospital need more money?" Hospital finance is very complicated, but if I summarize the need for a foundation. A year ago, we replaced a CT scanner for the hospital. That one piece of equipment cost $1.3 million. And that is not the kind of funding that is in a regular budget. So, and that, of course, is not the only piece of equipment that needs to be replaced. We are constantly replacing with newer technology. We are working to try to meet the increasing needs of our patients, and that's medical equipment, it's training, it's also occasionally remodeling, like we've done with our chemo infusion center that opened in July 2023, and we recently in March of 24 we opened our expanded emergency department, which nearly doubled the size for patient care. So those are some great things that have been made possible because of philanthropy. Private donations, foundations, grants, all of it works.
Yeah, whether it's like an auxiliary or a booster club, or in some cases like a PTA. These places that help support and supplement what an institution is already doing, and so that includes events that you host to raise funds.
Yes. We've hosted 2 events this year. We've had a golf tournament that is typically in August, and we also had what was called a Wonderful World of Wine. We held our 5th fundraising event with 6 courses of food, expertly paired with wines. And that fundraiser, both of those fundraisers, raised funds for what is called our Good Samaritan Fund. And that fund works to partner with patients who are in critical financial need to help pay for things like prescriptions or durable medical equipment. And recently we've opened up a clothing closet at our West Campus and also here on the main campus in Amory to be able to provide just general clothing, might be typical sweatshirt, sweatpants for dignified discharge. And unfortunately, there are patients who come in critical state, and if they're coming into the emergency room, clothes may need to be cut off. Well, you need something to go home in, and it's got to be more than just a paper gown. So so things like that. And unfortunately, because of recent legislative changes that have been happening, our patients are really going to be affected. There is more
Yeah.
and more need for that Good Samaritan Fund.
And
So-
to learn more about the Amory Hospital and Clinic Foundation, head to healthpartners.com. That again is healthpartners.com/foundations/Amory. Lisa Relow, thank you very much for telling us all about it as part of our 12 Days of Community Kindness. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you, and grateful for the opportunity. I'd love to meet with anyone and answer any questions. So please give me a call at the hospital.
Thank you so much for that, Lisa. Appreciate it. All right. Have a good start to your weekend. And coming up, Dr. Kristen Lyerly will join us, as will Mike Clemens. But one more reminder, the key word in our text to win grown-up gift list contest is CARD, C-A-R-D. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. All right. Thank you, Lisa, very much. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
bet.
it.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. No, you stop. No, you stop.
Killing me, Smalls.
No, you hang up first.
Oh, God.
HearingAidCenter.com and take a free hearing test online. They help John Peterson, they help me, and they can help you too. Call them at 608-249-4077. Don't let hearing loss frustrate you anymore. Go to MadisonHearingAidCenter.com.
Happy holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays.
Oh, hello, everyone. Judy Summers from Summers Tree Farm, located on Rocky Dell Road, 3 miles west of Middleton, exit 250 Airport Road. The farm opens the day after Thanksgiving, 8 to 5 daily. We close at noon Christmas Eve. Visit our website at summerschristmastreefarm.com. We look forward to seeing you. Happy holidays from the Summers family.
Are you prepared, I say to my Republican friends, to sit back and allow over 20 million Americans to see a doubling of their health care premiums?
Is Bernie Sanders right? Will 2026 Obamacare premiums double for 20 million Americans? No. Many Affordable Care Act enrollees will face sharp premium increases when enhanced subsidies expire on December 31st. But there's no evidence that 20 million people will see their costs double. KFF estimates average monthly payments will more than double in 2026. While it doesn't say how many will see premiums double, 2 to 3 million higher income enrollees losing all enhanced subsidies could see their premiums double or triple. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Wisconsin. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
There's a birthday going on at the Zimmermans today.
That's what I hear.
The phone lines are open at 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842 for questions, comments. If you need a little stimulation, here was our question of the day off the top of the program. Would you go back to driving your first car if you could? Because the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, seems to believe that when the Trump administration decided this week to loosen environmental standards on automobiles, he said it'll probably mean the return of the wood-paneled station wagon. And he meant that in some kind of a romantic way. He says, if we cut mileage requirements, customers will have no more choice. Here, the choice of what? Going back to something that got 8 miles a gallon? Is that something you would do? You've heard me talk about my first car, a 73 Plymouth Fury. Again, a lot of great stories. I wouldn't go back to it. I actually want cars to get better and better gas mileage. And once upon a time, they would not have done that were it not for these regulatory nudges by the government. They would have, said, well, you get what you get. And now Donald Trump wants us to backslide to that. Sean Duffy thinks that it's going to lead to more choice, that people are going to somehow choose wood-paneled station wagons and bring back the minivan while we're at it and things like that. So would you go back to your first car? We're always happy to take first car horror stories here at 855-75-CIVIC. I know you're thinking, well, wait, shouldn't Dr. Lyerly be here? Shouldn't Frank be here to administer a quiz? I'd like to say that, Frank is just off this week, but I choose to believe that he and Dr. Lyerly are just afraid of the competition. They knew I was about to make this late surge and pull ahead in the standings. I can say that now because they're not here. So they're not here to disagree with me. So
it'd be one hell of a comeback for you, Pat.
It would be an amazing comeback, one that we do not possibly have time for, and yet somehow
it's true. It's a lot of questions that you need.
It's a lot. We'll just have to carry on regardless of the circumstances. So
it's all rigged anyway.
No.
Yes.
I mean, well, you did a couple of times say your name first, and I don't believe your name was called, but that's again, when Kristen shouts her name, it's just your ear tunes into that. Apparently,
it means something.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, again, in our newsletter today, a beautiful photo of Chequamegon Bay. We love getting all the reader photos. You can subscribe to our newsletter over at upnorthnewswi.com. Click subscribe in the top banner. Also in there was the result of last week's newsletter question, which was all about favorite holiday dishes. And so you get to read what some of the other readers sent in terms of, their recipe, not their recipes, but their reaction to different types of stuffing and mashed potatoes and other holiday treats. And Ellie Bordeaux tells us that a week from today, she will share what the newsletter readers have sent in to the question of what's your favorite supper club? It's part of the Locals Love section, so we love to hear about local businesses. And so what's that local supper club that is still around in your community that you love to go to, and give that a little brag? And we'd love to have your input either by subscribing to the newsletter, upnorthnewswi.com, or putting something in the comment sections right here on Facebook or YouTube if you watch the radio show, or use that Civic Media app, because again, you can use that text feature. You can use it right now and text us the word card over the next 3 minutes. Card is the grown-up gift list text to win. Just text the word card, nothing else. But then if you want to send some other text message about cars or holiday dishes, we will happily take that as well. Well, there are, along with the holiday dishes, all kinds of other holiday treats, and our garage has got more than its share of peanut butter balls that Sherry's prepared, with the peanut butter and the graham crackers, and then she dips them in chocolate, and you put them on a cookie sheet, and you put them out in the garage or out on the back deck for a while and let them get all solidified and everything. Well, we now have a couple of new holiday treats that we just prepared here as well. We have never made a bucket of brandy slush before.
Oh,
and
yes.
so, and this is all Sherry. I can't take any credit for it. She was getting very frustrated because she made it on like Sunday, or was it whenever it was, and it did not freeze right away. It took a few days to freeze. And I don't know if that's normal or not, but it finally did. We could finally enjoy it yesterday, and it was perfectly good. I just don't know if maybe there was a little too much brandy, but can there be?
Thing.
Yeah, can there be? And then
that's a big one in my aunt and uncle's house, the brandy slush.
Oh yeah. We tell the story all the time. We weren't there, but we heard it from a close friend that they were at a function where they went to go get the brandy slush bucket from out on the deck, and they opened up the door, and all they saw was an empty bucket and their dog running into the house, and the dog runs in the house at full speed right into a wall. So I think we know who got into the bucket of brandy slush.
Did you see I believe that Jane and Greg talked about it on This Shouldn't Be a Thing the other day. The drunk raccoon.
Yes. Yeah. If you haven't seen that on social media, take a look. There's a liquor store. I don't know if it was a grocery store with a liquor aisle or a full-on liquor store, but you see in the video, you see these broken bottles. You see little puddles of liquor along the floor. And then in the bathroom is a raccoon passed out. I mean, just splayed out, all four.
Absolutely.
Just spread eagle.
Yeah.
Passed out on its stomach. And that is the holiday parties that we grew up on. You ever notice more and more companies all the time no longer have, the holiday parties where it was like open bar, and I can tell you stories about the old TV 13 Christmas parties, but I am contractually obligated to not, just to say that we had great parties. Whereas last night we were at the Clinic Christmas party, which was at the Pablo Center in Eau Claire. It was a much more formal and enjoyable affair. 2 drink tickets. No relationships were harmed in the making of that Christmas party. Put it that way.
Or if they were harmed, they were already going to get harmed.
They were already going to get there anyway. Exactly. Coming up in our next hour, we'll be visiting with Dr. Lyerly. We'll also have Mike Lemons talking a little sports with us. And while we're talking about sports, the Bucks, the Badger men's basketball team is facing Marquette tomorrow. You've got the Packers playing the Bears. But the real sports issue right now are those new powder blue uniform tops by the Brewers for next season and the gray pants. What? It's an outrage, I tell you, he said somewhat sarcastically. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I don't know what the sarcasm was for there.
You were so outraged.
DXRadio.com.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Netflix has struck a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery to buy Warner Brothers' legacy studio and streaming business for about $72 billion. The military hitting a suspected drug boat in the Eastern Pacific. 4 people killed. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz in Washington.
The Pentagon releasing video showing a new strike against a suspected drug boat. This the 22nd in a series of operations that have killed dozens of people. President Trump has labeled drug trafficking terrorists. The administration has yet to publicly provide evidence that any of those boats were carrying narcotics bound for the U.S.
A divided Supreme Court paving the way for Texas to move forward with its newly drawn congressional maps that strongly favor Republicans in the upcoming midterms. The week ending in a cold note for most of the upper half of the country. Sub-zero wind chills expected from the Great Lakes into the Northeast. It'll warm up somewhat today. This is ABC News.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You know it's the holiday season when there's a big tree in the Wisconsin State Capitol. Every year, there's a special ceremony to turn on the lights. The La Crosse Central High School Band had the honor of kicking things off. This year's celebration centered around the governor's proclamation that 2025 is the year of the kid. The tree's called the Learning Tree and honors students and educators all over Wisconsin. The guests of honor included Mr. Peanuts, real name Rodney Esser, who's been the custodian at Park Elementary School in Cross Plains for 61 years.
I just love what I do. Every morning, these little people will come into school, and it isn't limited just to little people who throw hugs at me and high fives and fist bumps, staff as well.
Green Bay West High School teacher Ellie Hines-Verdew talked about what's kept her going after more than 3 decades.
36 years in the classroom.
Well, there she is. Hello.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Now, did you know Frank was off and we weren't having a quiz?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. It's okay.
Do you still want me? I assume you still want me.
Well, we didn't have a quiz at 7:52 because Frank is off this week.
Oh, I forgot about 7:52.
Yeah. That's okay. Where are you today?
I'll give you a hint.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Where do the Packers play this week?
Yeah, right. Okay, I see.
Are you in Chippewa?
No.
It seems like
See
you're
the
pointing
top
at Pat.
picture?
No, I can't see the top picture yet.
It's the sky.
Clouds. Are you in
it's
heaven?
clouds. Are you in heaven?
Sky.
Okay.
You.
You. Oh, is this a picture of your ma?
Oh,
There's a
God.
ma. All right. So, that's right. You did say you theoretically had back-to-back trips to the cities, but you didn't do last week's, did you?
Nope, but I'm in Minnesota today, across the street from Huntington Bank Stadium.
That's right.
Yep, at my ACOG meeting. So when I'm done
Okay.
here, I'm going to walk across the street and go hang out with my people.
Okay. So now that we told you about the DC ACOG one, we're gonna have to make some plans.
It's a really big meeting. It's the
I know it
75th
is.
anniversary. Do you know about
Yes.
the gala? Do you need some gala tickets?
I don't know about the gala, and I will certainly take tickets. So yes.
It's a big fundraiser.
Okay.
So the tickets don't come cheap.
I believe it.
It's at the Anthem on the Wharf, which is like the hottest music venue in the country right now.
Okay. You
Probably
sound like
because
Stefan
US
from Saturday Night
Thanksgiving.
Live. Everybody's going to the hottest place in DC.
It is.
The hottest ticket. Hang on, I got to grab one visual aid here, and then I got to ask if you have any news stories you want to go over. All right, there we go.
Is that what we're doing here today? The news?
I looked,
They
but
tell me we're supposed
I didn't really see were there any particular health repro things in the news we wanted to cover while you're here.
Oh, did you hear about Texas?
Nope.
Texas has a new law that allows people. It's a civil law. It allows people. I'm not a law person.
Oh yes.
so-
Oh, the bounty thing. Yes.
Yeah, the bounty
Okay.
thing.
Okay, let me look that up real quick, and we can talk about that. There we go.
Surely this
And we
is
got 1 minute left on that. There we go. Okay. That's crazy. Okay, so we'll see if that comes, and then we'll do this, and we'll do this. There we go.
And we're all ready.
All right. Now we get to play Zimmerman Kid Roulette. Which one will it be?
30 seconds left in a break.
The little one. All right.
Aww.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Good morning, 8:06. Nice to have you back. It's Friday morning, December 5th, 2025. Parker Olson producing things in Madison Studio A2. Mike Clemens going to join us with sports at the bottom of the hour. But Dr. Kristen Lyerly is going to join us first. She's on the road attending meetings, meeting people, getting things done, and still finds a little time for us here today. Dr. Lyerly, how are you?
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hey, we're putting the word out for Rob from Tigerton because we don't see a weather report from him yet. And I know he mentioned injuring his knee the other day. So, Rob, if you're listening, we hope you're feeling better soon and give us an update on things. Although, again, don't try to be a copycat for Kristen. Don't go seeking out a knee replacement. It's not for everybody, you know.
It is not for everybody. It is
Yep.
not for the faint of heart.
Let's look at the mailbag here. Alicia writes in, we were talking about peanut butter balls in the last segment because Sherry makes a ton of them, dips them in chocolate, freezes them. Alicia says, yeah, peanut butter balls would not make it beyond my house if I made them. That's part of the reason we make so many. It's the only way that we have enough to give out here.
Pat,
Let's see.
we
Yes.
make peanut butter balls too, and I have to hide them in strategic places because the kids have gotten really smart about finding them,
I
and they
believe
never
it.
make it till Christmas. And my kids are big now, and they're big and smart. So putting them in, I've resorted to putting them in like bags of, because you want to keep them frozen because they're nice and cold.
Right.
So I'll buy like a giant bag of frozen peas and I'll embed them within the frozen peas. It's gotten very strategic.
Wow.
I know.
I didn't know that
That's-
was like
That's
that kind
hilarious.
of a thing that needed to happen.
Wow. That's great. You know what I did just as an experiment last weekend when she was making them was we still haven't put away a few things from summer, including first there's the s'more basket. And I love chocolate dipped graham crackers. And so I did a couple of those since she had some chocolate left over after doing all the peanut butter balls, and then some of the marshmallows as well. So basically I made chocolate dipped s'mores, in separate pieces. But I thought now that after I had a good first run, I realized the next time I'm going to, because we still have some marshmallows left, I'm going to dip those in chocolate and then I'm going to roll them in some graham cracker crumbs.
Ooh.
And then you truly have a s'more right there.
Oh,
How's that?
I think you should call it a Kreitlow. You need to name it after yourself.
Need to name it? Okay.
Yes.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that. They say branding is also important.
Yes.
So the s'more basket, we hadn't emptied that yet. And I just realized during the news break here, as I've walked past it, 1,000 times, another relic of summer is the boat bag. The boat bag is still here for the pontoon.
Right next to you. Very handy.
Very handy because you never know when is the last boat ride. And so we've got, it's always got sunglasses, the boat key. It's got my Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville with the little patch on it that says, take life with a grain of salt and a slice of lime and a shot of tequila.
That's a lot on a hat.
Yep. There's a lot of can cozies in here, including for Crow's Nest, one of our local bars up here in Jim Falls. Not one, but 2 bottles of sunscreen.
Oh,
which,
good.
Again,
Be prepared.
I don't think I'm going to need those today. So, and more stuff. So I guess I have to give it up. Summer's done, right?
Yeah, I'm in Minneapolis and I'm looking out the window and summer is done.
Yeah, it's the light snow started here in the last half hour, and we're gonna get snow chances, like every other day for the next few days here.
And it's cold.
It's
it's blowing.
I have to let it go. I was asking earlier about wood-paneled station wagons because Sean Duffy made a comment that said he hopes they make a comeback. Roger writes in on Facebook, I had a 92 old station wagon with the fake wood paneling. I survived that car for 5 years. So, yeah.
I remember those.
Yep. Alicia, by the way, adds good morning with a lot of emphasis and says that she is super chipper today. So that is great.
Less coffee for Alicia.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. And, she also puts in now, okay, I know where to find the peanut butter balls at Dr. Lyerly's house.
Oh, you just try. You just try. I pod them out because I put them in different places because if they find one, the whole treasure can't be in one spot. It's become kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Can't you just tell them no? I mean, you're the parent, right? I mean,
I can.
Okay.
I can tell them no.
Tell them Santa's watching.
Yeah, I can tell them that too.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a whole other story for another day, Pat.
Yes. Yep. Are you familiar with today's big controversy about the Brewers' uniform change?
I'm not. Are they see-through like last time?
No, they're not. They're not cheaply made.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. No, and I know this is not on my list of things that Mike Clemens sent in to talk about sports at 8:35, but I'm going to make him talk about it. The uproar over the new uniforms introduced yesterday. Instead of the road grays, gray top, gray pants, the new tops are powder blue. They're bringing back powder blue tops for the road uniforms.
Just tops?
Just tops. And I don't mean they're going without pants. I mean, they're keeping the gray pants, and the internet has lost its dang mind over, by the way, and that includes one Parker Olson. He is really worked up about powder blue tops with gray pants and how goofy it looks.
Oh.
It's so dumb.
It sounds terrible. I'm good at.
Yeah, you do. You take a look. So, all right. So Kristen does not join the outrage yet, but once she sees it, she might be doing that. Now, you are in the cities here on business for ACOG, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and there's always so many issues to talk about because there's no end to the extremist politicians who want to do as much as they can to take away women's health care rights. And one of the more ludicrous events comes out of Texas, which again is using intimidation, fear mongering. I mean, the word bounty is coming up. Tell folks what the new Texas law is and what its status is.
So starting yesterday in Texas, a new law has been enacted that allows anyone to sue anyone who manufactures, sends supplies, just anybody who gives abortion medication to somebody in Texas, anybody can sue the person who has given them that medication. Essentially what this is intended to do is stop people from ordering medication abortion from other states, which is how nearly 2/3 of abortions are delivered across the country these days, just because of all of the abortion bans. So other states like Maryland, like Minnesota, where I am right now, these states have enacted shield laws to protect patients and doctors who provide and seek abortion care. The Texas law is intended to break through those shield laws so that they can sue doctors in other states. Like we've seen in Louisiana and Texas, there's a doctor in New York who provides medication abortion. We've seen that doctor attacked by those two states. So this is not a criminal penalty, it's a civil penalty, which means there's a financial incentive or a bounty. So Texas, thank you. But this is not going to stop abortion providers. Abortion providers are people who are providing this essential, life-saving medication that we know is good. We've had it for over 25 years. It's been FDA approved. Abortion providers are steeled in their determination to make sure that our patients can get health care. So we're determined. People can still get the care that they need. Texas, not so good.
I totally get that. But the problem is that there's still that intimidation. There's still going to be the first wave of suits that are filed, you know, and it's all about costing people money. That's why Trump does all of the things that he does, is he knows he's not going to be successful. But, you know, if he can make people afraid or make people rack up huge legal bills, that might deter some people. And so, I mean, the best thing would be for courts to act quickly to slap down these kinds of things. But until they do, that's why we put information out like this, is to let people know what is the state of the law and to let you know that people are fighting it, but it may take some time.
Yes. And I think to your point, Pat, it's the chilling effect.
Yeah.
We saw this in Wisconsin as well. After the Dobbs decision, after Roe v. Wade, here in Wisconsin, people didn't know if it was safe or legal to get abortion care, and doctors didn't know whether they could offer it or where to send their patients. It's been back and forth in Wisconsin. You'll remember that for a long time we didn't offer abortion care. Then the Supreme Court said that we could. Then Planned Parenthood said they weren't going to. People are very confused about what they can access, and this is already challenging healthcare to provide and receive. This just adds one more barrier, one more layer that makes it harder for people to get the care that they need.
Yeah. And, you know, it's also not helpful when there are still laws on the books from the 1800s, and not just the Wisconsin law that we've been talking about, but the Comstock Act from 1873 that, you know, anti-choice extremists want to use, when the best solution overall would be to get government out of this business altogether.
Please say that again.
The best thing would be to get government out of this business altogether of trying to dictate what a woman can do with her body, period. And that is the only thing that is going to lead to the kind of responsible health care that will minimize abortions, because people will have access to birth control. They'll have better education. They'll have greater self-esteem that comes with better health education. And the busybodies can, you know, go fight some other battle if we could just get government out of the business of its war on women's bodily autonomy.
Yes, and it's not just about abortion. We know that they have a plan to take birth control away. The Heritage Foundation has published this roadmap to take birth control away from us. They've already questioned IUDs. Now they're talking about hormonal methods. Those of us who have been watching in Wisconsin saw the Republicans in Wisconsin circulate a bill to force women to use catch kits if they use medication abortion and catch the contents of their uterus in a container that I like to call a Brill bag or a Jacques in the box, because I think that these catch kits should be named after the people who wrote this ridiculous legislation. And they say that it's about clean water, that they don't want this material in the water. But the truth is, this material has nothing to do with the water. If you are serious about clean water, clean up the PFAS, clean up the lead pipes, do something actually serious. Don't criminalize women for having a body that functions.
Say that again?
Don't criminalize women for having a body that functions.
There we go. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is with us, and then a little bit later on, we'll talk to Mike Clemens. We'll do a little bit of sports here, but let me give you a couple of headlines quick before the break, simply to let you know that there is some sports on the radio here across the Civic Media Radio Network, and that would include tonight the Badger men's hockey team is at Notre Dame. Coverage will begin at 5:30 on our station in Wisconsin Rapids, and then the Badger men's basketball team taking on Marquette at the Kohl Center tomorrow. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock on stations in Wisconsin Rapids, Richland Center, and Ironwood, Michigan. And, of course, you got the Packers versus the Bears. Coverage beginning at 1 o'clock on several stations across the Civic Media Radio Network. Kristen, you going to be at the game?
I'm going to be around the game.
Yeah, she's always around the game. She's always Packer adjacent. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Kristen Lyerly, ever Lambo adjacent.
I like that, adjacent. I'm reading on Milwaukee Magazine about these new uniforms. Hundreds of hours and meticulous planning went into making the Brewers City Connect uniform, according to the team.
Well, that was the City Connect uniform when they brought back the powder blue. But
this is different?
Yeah, this is
the
brand
wrong
new.
one.
Yeah,
that's the old
the City Connect's been around for 3 years now. But yesterday, they unveiled the new road uniforms and baby blue or powder blue tops, but still the old gray pants, which some people are very bothered by. So,
they look mismatched. I see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Kristen, did we ever ask if you have a first car story? Like what your first car was? Was it a beater?
No, it was my mom's pride and joy, and I wrecked it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can talk about it. Are we having that conversation?
Well, just about Sean Duffy wanting to bring back the wood panel station wagon. So we've just been saying, would you go back to your first car? I mean, would you want something
I'd go back
that gets
to my first car.
Even if it got
I'm
8 miles a
nostalgic
gallon?
about that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my dad was a car enthusiast. So
Oh, that's right. Yes.
yeah. So there's that whole group of people that still are kind of
Yeah.
in my universe.
That's so cool. So there's no football game tomorrow for you. Are you doing anything for fun while you're out there?
Just spending some time with friends.
With your buds?
Yeah,
Going
I
back
get
to
to sit.
going back to Dinkytown?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm right across the street from the stadium. I'm at that Radisson on campus on Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're in the Alumni Center is where our meeting is.
Okay, nice.
That new funky building, which is...
Don't forget 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
The Alumni Center is where the old stadium used to be.
Yes, Memorial Stadium. That's right.
Memorial Stadium. I was on Snelling yesterday at a lovely little Italian restaurant.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
15 seconds.
All my old stomping grounds. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. (855-75-CIVIC), 855-752-4842. We're asking about your first car and whether you'd go back to it if that was the only car to go back to. because Sean Duffy was waxing nostalgic about wood-paneled station wagons as justification for getting rid of fuel mileage standards, or at least weakening them substantially. Let's see. I believe it was Alicia that said on YouTube, yes. My first car was a cheap Chevy Malibu that I was scammed into paying way too much for at a dealership just off base. So yeah, not everybody has a great experience. Roger told us earlier about his 92 Olds station wagon with the fake wood paneling and having to survive that car for 5 years. Did you have anything like that?
My first car was shared. It was my mom's car, and it was her pride and joy. It was a 67 Pontiac Le Mans. It was blue. I loved that car. I waxed it, and when I got the wax in the insignia, because remember the insignia used to stick out, I would pick it out with a toothpick. I loved that car so much. And then I wrecked it.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, what happened?
I was 16, and I just had a stupid accident like 16-year-olds do. And I still, 40 years later, am mourning that car because I loved it so much.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like it. Did you have between friends and others? Did anybody have they had the legendary beater car? I know in my particular circle of friends that was my car because it was that 73 Fury. Others had nice little hand-me-down cars, but mine was definitely the beater of the group. Did you have somebody whose car you still remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my high school boyfriend had like an old Oldsmobile, but it was just a joke. But it ran. It got you from point A to point B. And when you live in a small town, you don't have to worry about big city driving or highways. You just need something to get you from one place to another.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Tony says, my 94 Chevy Lumina went from my dad to my sister to me, and I loved it. So you do see that more, that cars, again, because they're built better, Sean Duffy, will go to 2 and sometimes 3 generations. Unless you take really good care of them, it can go even deeper. Our oldest grandson, who's 19, he is currently driving a 1994 Buick, a white Buick, 4-door with, I believe it's like red cloth seats or something like that.
Nice.
But he got him from like his grandparents, like a great uncle. They're retired now, but it was basically a case of they drove the car to church on Sundays. And that's about it. The car it's not brand new, but he's definitely have to learn to do things like change out, different pumps and things. So it's a good learning experience, actually. But again, free car that was taken care of, before it started aging. Whereas nowadays, again, don't forgive the old man rant, but you don't get an education about your car nowadays because it's all computers and everything else. You can't tinker with it. It's too much. It's high tech.
And that white Buick with the red interior, I bet the ladies love that. Ka-chow. It's like a rolling Valentine.
Maybe. I can't say that I've asked him about that. So
you should get some of those like Valentine stickers, the ones that aren't permanent. You put them on your windows, the window clings, and just like decorate them all over the outside of the car, mostly just on the back and the passenger side so that when he gets in, he doesn't know. So he's driving down the street with this like heart. That would be so fun.
Look at you.
Diabolical.
Sabotaging somebody's car with decorations.
We have a running joke in my car where we've got that like the student driver, please be patient sticker, that magnet, and it gets like secretly passed on to the different cars.
See, now that's nice and subversive. I like that. Like you never know when you're gonna. Oh, Tony, why Tony's doing me dirty on YouTube. Didn't you say you were anxious to be a great grandfather? No, Tony. No.
Is anxious the word?
Why would you go there? Petrified. My goodness. Chris in Eau Claire writes, a Ford Country Squire station wagon.
Ooh.
Bought it for $100. Lots of rust, but it started all winter.
$100. That's an investment.
$100 station wagon. Okay, Chris, I'm afraid I'm going to have to know your age. Because you didn't give the year of the car or your age, but I don't know the last time somebody paid $100 for a station wagon,
that runs. It
Yep.
gets you from point A to point B.
Yep, exactly. Let's end on the serious note that we started with, simply because there is a question in here, and I know it comes up a lot. So, Kristen, let's address this question on birth control and abortion. And it's from Tom in Hartford, who says, what percentage of abortions are done for convenience? That's the word you always hear, instead of saving the life of the mother. And he goes on to say he's very pro birth control, but we hear this a lot, that it's about convenience. And I do hear that question too, about percentage of abortions done for convenience instead of some other reason. I'm sure you've heard that too.
Oh, sure. I mean, how do you define convenience?
Mm-hmm.
Convenience for what reason? Hey, it is such a personal decision, and it is so embedded in the context of why you're making this decision and how it all fits into your life. We're not talking about whether or not to get a colonoscopy here. We're talking about, potentially bringing a child into the world that completely changes the trajectory of not only your life, but the life of all the people in your family and your surroundings. So I don't know that convenient, there's no data on convenience because nobody surveys anybody on that. That's just not how it is. And I think anybody of the 1 in 4 women in this country who have had an abortion, for whatever their reason is, they all have a reason. Yeah. And it's a reason that makes perfect sense to them. So we have to trust women, and we have to recognize that abortion is healthcare. And
by the way, it's not just the motivation for the answer, but the motivation for asking the question. Why are you asking, and why is it your business?
And how about we make sure everybody can get birth control and healthcare?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's
all
focus
of that
on that
as one big old package. Have a great time in the Twin Cities. We'll talk to you on Monday morning.
Sounds great. Thank you, Pat.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. Talk to you later. Mike Clemens coming up with sports next. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. There's nobody that flits from the serious to the sublime like Kristen Lyerly.
It's like being a doctor and walking from one patient room.
It really is.
Where they're excited about their new pregnancy, and the next patient you're diagnosing with cancer, and you have to be able to, change.
I know. The pivoting is crazy. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to hearing Mike Clemens' fashion report on the Brewers. And I want to weigh in that they don't look very appealing to me either.
Yeah, they don't. I don't. Did you want to hang around, or are you just going to hang around and listen, or what?
No, I'm going to go. I'll listen in the background.
Okay, that sounds good. You do that.
All right.
And you're good for Monday?
I'm good for Monday.
Okay, sounds great. In case you hang up during the segment, I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right, Pat, we have got
All right, Pat, we got Mike on the line here.
I'll bet you do. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Pat.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. Keeping busy.
Did you happen to see my email on the powder blue uniforms?
No.
Okay.
Where, is it in the civic media?
No, it was in the Journal Sentinel and other places. The reaction to I don't know if you saw the new road uniforms were unveiled yesterday. And
For the Lions?
For the Brewers.
Oh, for the Brewers.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that.
Oh, okay. Then I'm just going to mention.
Deep into football right
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure you are. So yeah, I'll just mention it in passing because the comment sections have gone wild about
great.
the powder
Okay,
blue,
all right.
powder blue top, but they're
Well
keeping the
done.
gray pants. So.
Is it? Gosh, maybe it's an email I didn't even get a chance to open yet. Let me see here.
Oh, that's okay.
Kate Reed, Alan Morrow, Jenna Meyer. Oh yeah, Brewers unveil new powder blue road jersey.
Mm-hmm.
How's it look?
It looks fine
There's a link
from
here.
the waist up. It's just that instead of matching pants, they're keeping the gray road pants, and people are losing their damn minds about this, Mike.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
So anyway, we're just having some fun with it.
Hey, something new to buy in the gift shop, you think?
Exactly. See,
marketing.
You get it. Yeah. All right, we'll get going in 45 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Thirty seconds left in a break.
Let's get you into the weekend now with some sports and bring in Mike Clemens to talk all about that. And see, here's the thing with Mike. He works really hard, okay, to find the best sports stories. And they involve, everything that the Packers are doing on the field and off the field, what the Bucks are doing, the Badgers. You got to follow it all. And you never know which one that you think is the big sports story, and it turns out to be something completely different. And so let's welcome in Mike just to say, Mike, I never dreamed for a moment that the big hot story in sports this morning would be that the Brewers announced new road uniforms, powder blue tops, but because the pants don't match, because it's gray pants, the comment section is going crazy with this. I guess that means you and I might not be shelling out $100 for a new powder blue uniform top. I don't know.
Man, listen, I'm not crazy about a lot of these uniforms. I'm not crazy about the all white Packer uniforms and white helmets.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, what they do is that they have the form to your head. They pull that out and they give you a different helmet. Before you used to have, Red Batty had to pull the decals off and do it physically. Now they got 3 or 4 different helmets. To me, the average fan, boy, they save up this money. They're buying $200 or more per ticket. I want to see the team that I've been, raised on watching since I was a kid. If I go to Boston and I see the Red Sox at Fenway, I want to see a Boston Red Sox jersey, not that banana peel that they wear
Oh my
sometimes
gosh,
on
yes.
Friday night.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Yes,
It's
I
just
do.
Crazy. So I haven't. No, I missed this, but I heard that you jumped on it, and people are going crazy about this story.
They are, which and again, it's understandable that people go, okay, the shirt, the top and the bottoms don't match. I just did not expect it as I was scrolling through social media today. I mean, the number of people that took the time to comment on that has me thinking they might rethink things. We might see powder blue pants yet before opening day. These are the weighty questions that Mike Clemens is going to be asked to talk about when spring training gets underway. But
You know, I mean, so I went to my email, I found it, but it's like when I see it's from the marketing department, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll catch up on that over the weekend. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking to see if Freddie Peralta's been traded yet.
Right. Right.
That's what that kid kind of has my attention right now for the Brewers file.
I had no idea. I knew they were coming out. I saw that as well, but it wasn't until I looked at a post and I saw it said 1,500 comments or something. I'm like, well, I got to take a look at this. And sure enough, that's what people
it's the
want to weigh
funniest
in on.
things though that tick these people off.
Oh yeah.
But something. After talking to some players this week, that's the thing that we forget about players. These players that stand out there in front of microphones, like Caleb Williams. Yeah, we're blocking out the noise.
Yep.
We're not listening to the noise. They absolutely are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is why you got like your star basketball player Giannis, suddenly scrubbing his account of anything mentioning the Bucks or the city of Milwaukee or something. Or Matthew Golden, did you know that a couple of weeks ago he blew up his Instagram account, and then everybody gets upset about that, like, the number one pick, the rookie, maybe he's not, he's not getting enough passes. He's already going AJ Brown on you, and it's like I can't pay attention to this stuff. And then, what happens? Then ESPN, you wake up Wednesday morning and Giannis, they won a game, then they lost a horrible game to the Wizards, the Washington Wizards team Monday night in Washington. They're 2-16, and you lost to these knuckleheads. Chris Middleton over there laughing, and all of a sudden here comes another report from ESPN. Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent have now approached the Milwaukee Bucks franchise about possibly exploring a trade somewhere down there in the future for Giannis. Is that the next thing for him? Is that maybe the best thing for him? And but listen, there's too much smoke in that story, in that side.
Yeah.
And it starts with, I've been around Giannis. I've told you this story. If I could take you along to a game, usually they bring in Giannis or their star player of the night, like into the press conference room. But like one night they'll come to you and say, "Hey, Mike, listen, there's just a couple guys here, and the other guys want to get going. Come on, follow me. I'll take you to the locker room." So then you're standing there before Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this was like last spring, and there goes Chris Middleton with two bad ankles, and he's putting on his coat and leaving already, and there goes Damian Lillard waving goodbye after talking to us. Giannis is there with all these little kitchen timers, and both feet in buckets of straight ice water for 20 minutes. Soaking these feet because that's what the trainers tell him to do. He follows that to the T. That's how competitive this guy is. And the timers are going off while you're talking to him, getting some radio clips. And that's how dedicated it is. But, he's been with these guys since he was 18. He's almost like a TV child star.
Yeah.
And in some ways, he pouts if he doesn't get his way. And then you approach this latest wave of stories like, come on, man. And now ESPN's naming the agent. This is very strong stuff. And the coach goes, for the 50th time, the guy says he loves the Bucks, loves Milwaukee, okay? And, these networks might have their sources. I've got my source, all right? It's the player.
Yeah.
It's the player. He's never once ever said the word trade, at least to me, the head coach. And so the saga continues.
And so it does. And that, of course, will be discussed tonight as the Bucks host the 76ers at the Fiserv Forum. And then at the Kohl Center tomorrow, we've got the Badger men's basketball team. They will be hosting Marquette after the Badgers beat Northwestern to open up the Big Ten season. And so that always, no matter how the teams are doing, Mike, when the Badgers are playing Marquette, that always gets some good attention, a little cross-state rivalry.
Oh, and Marquette loves if they can pull that upset. Shaka Smart is a great coach. Now, he lost a lot of his best players from last year, but he's got a couple guys that he can depend on, like Ben Gold and some others for top scorers. Up against Greg Gard, who's really sharp coach, really experienced. Right. And with all the competition out there, he's still holding on his program. He's 6-2. Golden Eagles are 5-4 now after the win that they had the other night. 1:00 at the Kohl Center tomorrow, and I believe it's going to be covered on your local Fox Sports station.
Yep, and civic media stations in Wisconsin Rapids, Richland Center, and Ironwood, Michigan will have the game as well. Then there's the Badger men's hockey team. They are at Notre Dame tonight. Coverage begins at 5:30 on our station in Wisconsin Rapids. And one last Badger note, the women are in the NCAA volleyball tournament. They're hosting the first and second rounds, and in the first round, they swept Eastern Illinois, advancing to the second round of the tournament for the 13th year in a row. The Badger women will face North Carolina at 7 o'clock tonight at the Fieldhouse. The winner moves on to Austin, Texas for the regional semifinals. So that gets you caught up
head
on
coach
all
Kelly
the Badgers.
Sheffield, he's so respected up there. He's such a good guy to talk to, and he's just all about that volleyball program. The players trust him. They do some great recruiting. It's one of the top programs in the country, and so they're taking on North Carolina Tar Heels. I think that gets set for 7 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
If you've got ESPN Plus, you can stream that, and they sell tickets to this thing. UW Fieldhouse will be packed tonight.
Oh yes, it will.
Hosting that NCAA regional tournament game.
Yeah, and I know some people are extremely unhappy that the NCAA set up the deal where the first and second rounds are streaming only. They're making the pitch that, hey, this is really catching on, and there are viewers, there's ratings to be had. So I won't be the least bit surprised if next year you see the tournament on regular TV from the first round onward. But for the next round here for tonight, you're like Mike said, you're going to have to use the ESPN streaming service to get that. Let's go ahead and look at that Packers-Bears game. 3:25 kickoff at Lambeau Field. The coverage begins at 1 o'clock on civic media stations in Richland Center, Park Falls, Racine, and Wautoma. Bears are in first place in the NFC North, but Mike, the NFC is really tight. If I read it correctly, the Bears are the number one seed in the NFC right now, but by losing that game, they could tumble as far as a 7 seed because things are so tight right now.
That's true. And, as they're going into this 5-game winning streak, but last Friday night, they went into Philadelphia, and they beat the Eagles 24-15. They ran the ball. They rushed for 281 yards between DeAndre Swift, former Eagle, and then this kid, Kyle Minogue, who's out of Rutgers. He was like the leading rusher last year in the Big Ten. And he got nicked up a little bit, but he was able to practice yesterday. 281 yards rushing. Kept the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. That defense of the Bears. I was asking Christian Watson, I said, what's the difference between this Bears team and the one that you guys faced like 10 months ago? He said, defense, he said, they're just better at assignments. They're not making mistakes. It's hard to catch them in a coverage mistake. And I'm like, oh, you know why? Because it's Dennis Allen. That's the defensive coordinator that Ben Johnson hired.
Ah.
Dennis is the guy that was Sean Payton's right-hand man when the Saints were great. And then Payton got out of New Orleans. Drew Brees retired. Dennis Allen was handed the keys, but he didn't have a quarterback. So he struggled, and maybe he's not head coach material, but he's a darn good detail-oriented defensive coordinator. And now the Bears have 17 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
17. They lead the league with 17 interceptions this season. Kevin Byard is their safety. That was a good free agency pickup from Ryan Poles. LaFleur he never does this. He complimented what the Poles has done as a GM and adding here and there, some pieces to help improve their offensive line, the back end of their secondary. That guy's leading the league with 6 interceptions. So those are the things that they're up against. But right now, Packers are playing great on offense. Jordan Love, 4 touchdowns passes against the Lions, named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Also got the Walter Payton Award, which is for his community service with his Hands of Love Foundation. Got to talk to him about that. You'll hear that in one of my updates here at the top of the hour for sports. Packers are in a good place. I think they might get Jaden Reed, the wide receiver, back.
That you anticipated my next question, whether he was going to be back from both shoulder and foot surgeries, and whether I guess he's practicing in pads. So in our last minute and a half here, do you think Jaden Reed comes back as early as this weekend?
But they could be real careful and say 1 more or 2 padded practices next week against the Broncos. But he looks pretty good right now. He seems to be pretty confident. So maybe he can get in that rotation for Sunday's game. I don't think though Matthew Golden's going to be played yet because he's been very limited in his participation with still dealing with a wrist injury. But Josh Jacobs, got to talk to him for a long time, and the big difference in this game is Micah Parsons.
Yes,
he is such an amazing athlete, leader, competitor, thoughtful. I mean, I'm already know that I'm already envisioning that name up in the ring. If these guys can win a Super Bowl in the Ring of Honor, Micah Parsons is impressing me more each week.
Yeah, and boy, we would love for him to have a big game against the Bears now, and again, less than 2 weeks later when they play on a Saturday night. Mike Clemens, thank you so much for all of this. We'll catch your updates at the top of the hour all across the Civic Media Radio Network. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, Pat. Thank you, pal.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, Packers versus the Bears. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock for a 3:25 kickoff on some of our Civic Media stations. And yeah, as I was saying, again, 3:25 kickoff this Sunday. And then less than 2 weeks later, they've got a Saturday game on December 20th, and that game will be in prime time with a 7:20 kickoff, I believe it is. We will have some final news and notes from Lake Wissota, wrap up the week here coming up next. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. Follow us at upnorthnewswi.com. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
"30 seconds left in a break."
There it is, my walk-off music for Fridays, giving me a chance to express my gratitude to all of this week's great guests. What a busy week we had. I mean, just today, we had Kia Vakil, of course, from Courier Newsroom. Greg Bach joined us for history. Mark Jacob, Jennifer Schulze, Jim Santel, Dr. Kristen Lyerly, Mike Clemens there that you just heard. But, I mean, we also had Brian Lemick from Defend the Vote. We had pediatrician Dr. Kelly Snook in. Craig Gilbert, longtime writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, joining us to talk about 2026 and how the environment is looking there. We also heard from Dennis McBride, the mayor of Wauwatosa, who's got a new book out all about 2020, his first year as mayor, and everything that was going on. Wauwatosa was truly a microcosm of the country, and he's got a new book about it, and we thank Dennis McBride for joining us, along with his brother Pat McBride and a whole bunch of other folks who on Monday surprised Dr. Kristen Lyerly with happy birthday greetings. We also had, of course, Selena Heller from Up North News. You can follow everything that she does by following us at upnorthnewswi.com or Up North News WI on all the socials. We talked about wedding barns and what the legislature is and isn't doing about them with Gene Bond, who is a wedding barn owner, and also Sheila Everhart from the Wisconsin Agricultural Tourism Association, and, of course, our friend Hans Breitenmoser, who is a dairy farmer from up in the Lincoln County area. Dan Schaefer, we talked to him from the recombobulation area, all about former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes getting into the governor's race. We also talked to political strategist Joe Zepecki about that, and what is the shape of the race now that there are 6 named Democrats running for governor, probably a 7th one about to get into the race as well. Melissa Baldoff had our climate check. Sean O'Malley talked all about your money in the markets and the lack of trustworthy data from the U.S. government now because of the way the Trump administration has handled data before, during, and since the government shutdown. And, of course, all of our civic media friends like Chad Holmes, you had John and Gordy, Jane Matinair, James Kelly, Jimmy Kuska, and more. Parker, I don't know how we kept track of it all. I don't know how we do it day after day, week after week. Yeah.
I can't count to 4. I don't know how. I don't know how you did that, Pat.
You go back and look at all of this, and again, it's nothing but straight up gratitude for folks who make this show what it is and help it come together. As I look ahead to the next week, again, we're going to have just another good bunch of guests who are going to be on, including Richard Trent, who is the national executive director for Main Street Alliance, will be joining us along with Ruth Conniff from the Wisconsin Examiner. And that's all. I just book these people and yap with them. Parker over here is the one that's actually got to log it, tape it, get them set for the weekend best of shows. Maybe 1 or 2 of these get submitted for a WBA award. I feel like the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association should be on notice that Parker's about to flood the zone with entries from this little radio show. I mean,
I got plenty of work to do.
Yeah,
frankly, Pat, I would appreciate it if you had a little worse of a show, so
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
have so much stuff to do.
I've tried to do my part, but mediocrity is just not in the blood here. We have to have excellence as much as possible.
I guess you can be really good.
Yeah, this is where I'd normally tell you what's coming up next on Matt and Air on Air, but there is a big white blank square on the calendar here because Jane Matt and Air is winding things down. And so it's all about the surprises.
Exactly. It's a week full of surprises.
Mm-hmm.
I think next week, Matt and Air on Air, you have to listen.
Oh,
you have
of
no
course.
excuse not to listen.
Jane's
You
wrapping
usually
up.
don't have an excuse to not.
Jane's wrapping up an 82-year career in broadcasting, or however long it was. She'll love hearing that because some days it does feel like it. But Jane, the woman, the myth, the legend, is going to be wrapping things up. So you're going to want to tune in from 9 to 11 all the way through. So again, we'll have some great guests for you as well next week. This weekend, the Christmas parties continue. I mentioned that there was a clinic Christmas party for my wife's work yesterday. There's a neighborhood one tonight that we've got to get planned for. And then there's my old co-anchor, Judy Clark, has a retirement party this weekend. This is definitely the season for parties. There's been a couple of places where we wanted to go to like grab a bite or something and forgot that that's the season. And the place is like packed with all the various holiday parties that come together.
Yeah.
I don't know about you though, because it's always been whitewater football. What do you do now? Sorry, I wasn't rubbing it in. I was
I know
asking.
you're not. I'm just very sad.
I
Honestly,
know.
this is always the hardest time of year for me.
when whitewater football goes away. Oh,
Not
no.
necessarily that, but football in general just winds down now.
Yes, yeah.
Even though it's like getting really exciting because we're getting into conference championships and stuff. But
Yeah.
like,
But
it's
you can
just
also, from a
not
college football standpoint in Division I, I mean, what's that? The playoffs, are now what, 12 teams?
12
I think
teams, yes.
this year. They're going to expand it to 16 as soon as humanly possible. Where
Yeah.
once upon a time, it was just a national championship game. And of course, I'm old enough to remember, well, heck, you are too, when there was no national championship game. It was whatever the
It was
AP
the vote.
writers said. It was a poll that determined your national champion. We've kind of evolved since then into all these games. Are the games there to help determine a true national champion? Nay. The money. The answer to all your questions is money. So
this is very true.
I sense you might speculate on this and other things on Make the Call tomorrow morning.
Yes, we will. We will be talking about plenty of stuff. I imagine a little bit of Giannis talk will be in there.
Oh, gosh.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's required at this point. And I was glad to have Mike Clemens on, just kind of essentially setting the record straight when you can go right to the horse's mouth, or in this case, the superstar and his coach. And, that's what they're going to tell you. And if anything's going to come, it's on a need-to-know basis. And at the moment, we do not need to know. At least in their estimation. We would like to know. That's what we do here is, rampant speculation until we get confirmation. So, Giannis, let's make it happen. Let's just put your foot down and say, this is it. Parker, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for everything. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. I am Pat Kreitlow, founding editor of Up North News. We are the Wisconsin home for Courier Newsroom, a pro-democracy news network building a more informed, engaged, and representative America. We'll see you Monday morning back here up north.